3 or 4, they thought, right, we're here, we've done it, we've cracked it, get into this season. Oh no, it's actually, there was a few rained off matches.
Yes, you lost. I mean, Sussex haven't lost a game, which is extraordinary, really.
Yeah,
so
and
all the bad weather around.
Had Middlesex won last night, they'd be looking at a mid-table finish.
Yeah.
Now for Middlesex, that's a vast improvement on recent years. So they are getting there slowly. But I think what happens is that they do come on into the tournament each year with that pressure hanging on them, that they have the worst record T20 side. It hangs over them. It's got to be a question mark in the back of their minds every single year that they enter this competition. No matter who the players are, they know Middlesex as a team, so no matter which new player comes into it, unless you've got a player coming in from overseas, which Middlesex do not have because they do not have the finances for it. And again, if you throw a couple of overseas players into this side this season, maybe that win last night that would have put them mid-table would have been looking...
Let's talk about Luke Holman. 24 wickets in the coffin. He's the leading wicket taker in the competition.
You like Luke. He took 10 down here, didn't he?
Yeah, leg spinner. I mean, he goes at 11 and over, so he does go for a few, but he takes wickets.
Well, that's a wrist spinner, isn't it? They'll float it up there, they'll drag a one down, but they're always a threat. They're always in the game, aren't they? And he's bowling with confidence at the moment. Now, he was the youngest leg spinner to take a 10 for, wasn't he? When he picked up 10 in the match here, when Middlesex hit that record, and it was brilliant. And we thought, right, we're seeing the start, the early days of a very good young talent. He's still a very young talent, especially from spinning perspective. I think, with the bat, if he'd have produced a few more runs, he never would have lost his place in the side. But Josh DeCary's came in, obviously he's a batter who bowls, and now he's become a bowler. Not so much a bowler who bats, but a genuine all-rounder. So that's where Holman's challenge is at the moment. But yes, he's an exciting player, and in T20 he's obviously right up at the wicket-taking top of the wicket-taking charts this year.
One or two names in the Middlesex side, without being disrespectful, that some of the Sussex supporters here and those watching on the stream may not be familiar with. Noah Cornwall, tell us a little bit about him.
Now, Noah Cornwall, left-arm seamer. You and I were together at Lord's a couple of years ago when Curry went through Middlesex. Sorry, had to. Old pun, we've done it a while. We've done it a few times, that one, haven't we? But he did. The Curry went through Middlesex the next morning at Lord's. And left armers at Lord's, they're great, aren't they? So Middlesex are excited about young Noah Cornwall. Slope at Lord's, I think he's got a bright future ahead of him. He did, batting at 11, hit the biggest six I've ever seen hit at Lord's when he cleared the grandstand, Adrian.
Right, okay, that sounds like James Smith.
Whoa, over the grandstand. I mean, that was something special, it really was. It was a clip off his legs as well. Extraordinary shot. So Cornwall left-arm seamer, very promising young bowler, and Middlesex are rightly excited about him. Who are the other youngsters? There was another one you were going to go to as well, was that you weren't?
Well, we're looking through, people may not be familiar with Blake Cullen, Henry Brooks.
Well, Blake Cullen as well. Blake Cullen, a Radlett cricketer. You'll know Radlett Cricket Ground, I think.
Yes.
They played a game or two there with Sussex. Michael Atherton wrote a couple of years back that he was the one to watch when he was breaking through 2 or 3 years ago. Express pace he was. He's had a couple of back injuries which have held him up, as all young bowlers seem to have. When he is releasing it, he's sharp. He's the quickest at Middlesex, and he'll be up there. He's not a 90 mile an hour man, or not yet anyway, but he'll be up there in the country as one of the quickest. So running down the hill from the Cromwell Road end here, as the quicks do, you put one in short, it might keep a fraction low. Their pace instinctively has you a little bit back, doesn't it, as a batter? So be excited to watch him. He really put it up. His name's gone from my mind now. Hampshire batter, played for England for a little while. James Vince, thank you. He put it up, James Vince, for a little while. Radlett as well, great to watch.
Well, the good news is the players are making their way down the steps. There's not a cloud in the sky. Full of commentary on DAB frequencies coming up here at Hove. The time is 3 minutes to 7. Okay, mate, no problem. And then you're going to count me in, are you, Cameron? Okay. Right, and that's what that's not when I need to start. That's when we need to be out. Yes. Okay. T20 cricket is meant to be played on Friday nights. It's meant to be on lovely summer evenings, and that's exactly what we've got here at Hove this evening. The two umpires making their way out to the middle. Jack Shantry, the former Worcestershire bowler, with Ben Debenham. They're walking out, followed by the Sussex side. Sussex having lost the toss here this evening, and Middlesex opting to bat first. I spoke to Tom Mills before the toss, and he said if he'd won the toss, then he would certainly have bowled first. So everybody has got what they wanted. In terms of the Sussex side, just the one change from that defeat and a really disappointing performance last night down at Taunton. Jack Carson is brought into the side, and a bit of a surprise, Nathan McAndrew, the Australian all-rounder, drops out. We won't see Nathan again this season because he goes back to Australia for preparation for the Australian domestic season, which is coming up, I think it started at the beginning of September. So no Nathan McAndrew tonight. Brad Curry keeps his place in the side. So Daniel Hughes, Harrison Ward, Tom Clark, James Coles, John Simpson will keep wicket. Tom Alsop, Danny Lamb, Jack Carson, Ollie Robinson, Tamal Mills, the skipper, and Brad Curry. So the players are out in the middle. So if you want to carry on listening to us, you need to tune to our DAB frequencies. Otherwise, on BBC Radio Sussex and BBC Radio Stories, stay tuned. And Dan Simpson will be across the airways from 7 o'clock until 10 o'clock with Stephen Brown. So it's going to be Ollie Robinson here on BBC Radio Sussex on a DAB frequency on a lovely evening at home, running into bowl the first ball of the match to Steve Eskenazi, and Eskenazi works that one down to third man and picks up the first run of the night here at glorious Hove. I'm joined by Kevin Hand from BBC Radio London. We haven't had too many nights like this down here or anywhere this season with the weather. This is just idyllic.
Oh, it is, and you know, it's a funny feeling, isn't it? I was thinking this last night at Chelmsford, Middlesex playing against Gloucestershire, and yeah, strange feeling, isn't it? It feels like summer's finally arrived, but so much of the season has passed by already, hasn't it? The blast is virtually over. The championship is 2/3 of the way through. It must be by now.
Robinson comes in around the wicket to bowl to Louis Deploy. He's in and bowls, and he beats Deploy outside of the off stump. There's an appeal from the crowd. Taken by John Simpson, and there is no run. A few spare seats, but it is sold out at Hove tonight. 4,500 people will be scrunched inside the ground. A few of those are still making their way in.
They're all listening to us as well, Adrian.
They are listening to us. They're
on the stream, or on the ground, or on the radio.
We're on the radio, yep. So if you're listening on the stream, a very good evening to you, listening on the radio or online from a beautiful evening here down on the south coast, as Ollie Robinson is in and bowls, and a switch it from Louis Deploy. Now you don't see that happen too much to Ollie Robinson, and it's run away for 4 runs. It's gone right over the head of John Simpson. Jack Shantry is not a 4, in fact he signalled that's a 6 that has gone all the way to a maximum. And your little chuckle there, Kevin, suggests that maybe you've seen that shot before.
Well, no, it's just my comment was going to be, before you put me into a mischievous mood, because you always do somehow, Adrian. I don't know how, but you do. I was thinking, Robinson to Deploy, what a high-quality matchup. You're setting the team beautifully of everything that's here, and then we've got Robinson versus Deploy. You know, as high a quality as it can get at domestic level. Robinson
in, bowls at Deploy, defends into the offside, and there is no run. Ollie Robinson, one of the main reasons that Sussex have had a good campaign. He's only missed one of the games so far. He's taken 13 wickets, just over 7, and considering he bowls in the power play, Kevin, that's very good.
It's outstanding, isn't it? I mean, you know, look, he's international quality, and Deploy could be. He qualifies for England next year. I think he'd probably be in the South African side had he have chosen that route in life, but obviously he's come to England as a non-overseas.
Robinson, number 25 on the back of his blue shirt, runs away from us round the wicket and deploys at it again. Does he get a little nick on that? No, he doesn't. It goes through to John Simpson, and it is a dot ball. And Deploy, who came from Derbyshire last year.
Indeed. Yep. He came from Derbyshire. He's got a Hungarian passport, which is why he plays as a non-overseas. And his qualifications play for England completed in May next year. So a good back end to the season and a good start to next season. Then perhaps there'd be tongues wagging about Deploy for England. He's a great signing, though, for Middlesex. They fought off, I think it's fair to say, 17 other counties, including Derbyshire, wanting to keep him. I think he'd have... Any county would have taken Deploy, a player of his talent. try format as well. He'll play in all 3 formats for Middlesex, although he'll be off to the 100 as well, of course.
Changing the field, which I'll describe in a moment. Robinson around the wicket in bowls and deploys for Hammers. Oh, what a terrific catch that is by Daniel Hughes in a short extra cover. It was belted by Louis Deploy, and Daniel Hughes diving full length goalkeeper style. Jordan Pickford would have been proud of that. Hangs onto the ball. That's a terrific catch by the Australian, and the first wicket goes down. Middlesex 7 for 1, and a wicket for Ollie Robinson.
My jaw's just dropped. That's a great catch, isn't it, in the covers? And Deploy hits the ball hard. Of that there is little to no doubt. He really does give it quite the tonk. Middlesex's left-hander at the top. He was left stranded with a red inker last night, Adrian, as Middlesex lost, which, you know, in a run chase, if you're an opening bat, unbeaten at the end and your side's on the losing side, well, either you've got it horribly wrong, which I don't think he did at all, or at the other end the runs just didn't come, and they didn't, and that put a whole heap of pressure on Deploy to stay out there and not get out yesterday evening and be there at the end, and he was. But unfortunately the wickets were tumbling at the other end. It's over to somebody else tonight though. That's a very, very big wicket. It's probably the biggest, although Max Holden, wearing the number 4 on his back, coming in at number 3, was the Middlesex opener last year with Stephen Eskenazi. So it is friends reunited at the top of the table. Do you remember that, Adrian? Friends reunited. That was all before Facebook at the time, wasn't it?
Now this is Brad Curry, who's opening the bowling from the Cromwell Road end.
Is he going to go through Middlesex again? He's left arm over. Down the hill he comes. He bowls to Eskenazi, who opens the face and pushes a single out to deep point. And Eskenazi is off the mark. Off the mark for this over, because of course he got off the mark first ball of the previous over, didn't he? He has 2 from 2, and Holden comes on to strike. So 8 for 1, Middlesex. Yeah, it was a wonderful match, that game at Lord's a couple of seasons back. Pajara hit a double ton, didn't he? Simpson hit a century for Middlesex.
Yes, he did.
And then Curry brought the game to life, really rattling through Middlesex wickets before Roland Jones opened up at the end, Helm as well, and Simpson. So here's Curry to the left-handed Holden, who steps back outside leg stump. He is struck on the pad, I think, as the ball deflects to short third, and the umpire signals nothing to know. It was a little edge all along the floor, quite, whether it was an inside edge onto the pad. It went so slowly, didn't it, to short third, but a single take and then Holden off the mark. First ball as well, but yeah, it came to life because Middlesex then had a dart at the top order of Sussex, but what's his name, the youngster, Archie Lenham, batted for a couple of hours to deny Middlesex in the final evening of that game. As here's Curry to Eskenazi, a swing and a miss outside the off stump at a length ball, and then that sit back on his haunches in his crease, Eskenazi, to weigh it all up. His Pilates instructor would be furious with him for his...
We will keep an eye on events down in Cardiff tonight, where Glamorgan have won the toss and decided to bat. They are 8 without loss in the second over. A win for Glamorgan over Somerset and a win for Sussex here would give Sussex a home quarter-final.
Curry bowls, Eskenazi dabs back to the bowler. There's no run. They thought about it for a moment, didn't they?
And the other game that would influence the group as well is the match involving Essex. They are playing down at Southampton tonight against the Hampshire Hawks, where Hampshire, who can't qualify, Essex have won the toss. They've decided to field first. And Michael Pepper in the Essex side, and he played one of the best T20 innings I've ever seen here on Saturday. Made a wonderful 100 for Essex.
Curry again. Jogs in past the keeper, and down the track comes Eskenazi as Curry comes down the hill, and Eskenazi looks to swing that ball into the onside. Hi-ho plays out around Hove. Off to work. The Middlesex openers need to go.
Well, I think John Simpson's going to stand up to the stumps here. The crash helmet is being brought out. And indeed, he stood up to the stumps last night down at Taunton, and we can talk about John Simpson, I'm sure, as we go through this evening. But he's been a terrific signing for Sussex, it goes without saying. Here's
Curry. There was something immediately called out for there by Curry. Did you see what it was? He immediately turned to the dugout, didn't he? He's in now, bowls. Eskenazi goes for the scoop and nearly scoops it onto his stumps. Somehow it's got through. It's gone through everything. He hasn't got any bat on it, and buys our signal as it races down the hill towards the sea. And 4 runs it is here for Middlesex. 4 buys it is for Middlesex to end the over. They're 13 for 1 after 2.
And you're listening to live cricket on BBC Radio Sussex, BBC Radio London. Adrian Harms and Kevin Ham, wherever you're listening on our DAB frequency, you may be listening online, you may be watching the Sussex live stream, when you'll see it is the most glorious evening down here at Hove, where Middlesex won the toss. They decided to bat first. Sussex said they would have bowled first, so everybody getting their wish, and Ollie Robinson, who's already picked up a wicket courtesy of his excellent catch by Daniel Hughes in at short extra cover, is coming in to bowl his second over of the match. Ollie Robinson with 14 wickets in the competition so far, and he's coming over the wicket to bowl to the left-handed Max Holden, who's one not out. He's only faced one delivery. In comes Robinson, bowls, and Holden, well, it's a swing, and the ball disappears over gully for 4 runs. I mean, it's one that could have gone anywhere. He's got a big, thick outside edge, and with the field up, and what I mean by that, for those of you who don't necessarily watch or listen to T20 cricket, Sussex at this stage of proceedings only allowed 2 fielders outside of the 30-yard circle, and so an opportunity for Max Holden to swing, which he did. Big outside edge, and the ball sailed over third man for 4 runs. He goes to 5, and Middlesex to 17 for 1 in the third over, as Robinson is in again. Over the wicket, bowls, and Holden's at it again, smashes that one away. I thought it was going to go for a boundary, but it doesn't. It's actually fielded out on the cover boundary, and it's just a single. Just trying to see who that is. It's Tom Clark who fielded the ball up there. So 1 more to Holden. He goes to 6. Middlesex are 18 for 1. Ollie Robinson walks back to his mark. As I was saying, he's one of the main reasons why Sussex have had a good competition this year. I think Sussex, it was a huge bonus. I don't think they were expecting to see too much of him, but not in the England picture at the moment, and Sussex have benefited from that. Robinson on his way, bowls. Oh, it's a terrific delivery from Ollie Robinson. How on earth has that missed the stumps? It was a super delivery, it cut back, and it went right through Steve Escanali, taken by John Simpson going down the leg side, and that's an absolute belter of a delivery.
Yeah, gorgeous ball that one was, wasn't it? For Eskenazi to face. We saw one from Deploy in the opening over, didn't we? Where it went straight through him, and that was also got the little chuckle from me as well, because again, he's an outstanding player, isn't he, Deploy? But he was well beaten by Robinson in the opening over, much as Eskenazi was there.
Eskenazi 2 off of 7, as in comes Robinson over the wicket, bowls, and Eskenazi hammers that one away. That's a good shot by Steve Escanali. He's drilling the ball past mid-off to Mel Mills. The Sussex skipper was inside the 30-yard circle, and the ball was raced away for a boundary. And the total moves on to 22 for 1. You can hear the music beating out here on our effects microphone at Hove.
It is. I'm ready to go back down to the seafront after this.
Was there people in the sea down there?
Oh my goodness me, you should have seen it. It's the hottest day of the year so far, isn't it, today?
In comes Robinson over the wicket, in and bowls, swung away, or looked to swing away from Steve Eskenazi. He didn't make contact, and the ball goes through to John Simpson, and there is no run. Sussex have got a slip in place, so Eskenazi getting a couple of lives here. He was beaten by Ollie Robinson with an absolute belter earlier on in the over, and that ball, he was looking to heave the ball away over mid-wicket, but the ball rattled past the outside edge through into the gloves of John Simpson, and there is no run. Robinson back to his mark in his second over. That comes into bowl to the Middlesex skipper. He's in and bowls, and Eskenazi sits on the pad. Let's allow an appeal, and Robinson gets his revenge. Steve Eskenazi playing slightly across the line. He turns and gives Jack Chantry, the umpire, a knowing look, but Robinson has picked up the wicket, and Ollie Robinson with wickets in consecutive overs here, and Middlesex in a bit of trouble here in the power play. They are 22 for 2 at the end of the third.
Yeah, that's it really, isn't it, for the power play? You don't want to lose more than 2. Old adage, we always drag it out, don't we? Lose 3 or more in the power play and you lose 90% of your games. It's still going to be there or thereabouts. If that isn't the exact science of it, still it'll be close to it. But back goes Eskenazi. Disappointment for him, having missed a couple of games through injury. He's back in the side, but back in the shed now as Middlesex look to Jack Davies at number 4. A little bit of a promotion for him. Joe Cracknell is a player who's been struggling to get back up the order for Middlesex, but Davies has risen up the ranks this season in replacement, of course, of John Simpson. Glovesman now for Middlesex, Davies.
Can you just explain, because some of our listeners may not know, and I'm not sure I know either, why are Middlesex playing some of their away games at Chelmsford?
You could have given me the long run up for that one. No, it's, look, Lords and Middlesex is always
home games, I should say, at Chelmsford.
Lords and Middlesex, not complicated, but especially now with the 100, that's even more cricket at Lords, so it's fewer days for Middlesex at Lords. So they've got to find places to play cricket. They played their first fixture of the season at Chelmsford in the Blast, and their last home fixture of the season as well at Chelmsford. And here's Curry beginning the new over to Max Holden, who steps away and cuts. Oh, wow, what a catch! That's an absolute screamer. Brilliant catch taken at backward point, low to his left. I was just about to say he steps away and carves it through cover, but Carson, low to his left with a stunner, removes Max Holden, and back goes Middlesex's number 3, who was the opener and who very much was looked to in this match situation now, with Deploy and Eskenazi back in the hutch, to be the man to go on. He was ready to do it as well. He powered that out of the middle of the bat, but he's powered it too close to Carson. Brilliant catch, a worldie from the Sussex man. Middlesex are 22 for 3.
Well, what a magnificent catch that was from Jack Carson. Last night Sussex were not at the races at all in the field, and Jack Carson's getting a huge ovation from the Sussex bowler. That was a wonderful, wonderful catch, diving away full length. Brilliant catch. Well, we took about 3 wickets going down. In fact, I've got that completely wrong. I'm sorry. I thought it was Jack Carson. It was Danny Lamb. So I apologise. It was engulfed by his teammates, wasn't he?
Number 10.
Yeah, Danny Lamb.
Number 10, Danny Lamb.
So he was. So for a minute, I was looking for where the ball had gone for the boundary.
Carson would have made
anyway, Danny Lamb. Well. So sorry, Danny, we got it wrong. Danny Lamb.
Here is Curry with a slip in place, and he bowls to Martin Anderson. These two needed to provide a rescue act at Cheltenham College a week ago. He pushes this one back, Anderson, into the offside, and there's no run. And well, Middlesex up against it here on a sunny evening on the south coast, down by the sea. They need to find a way to get their head above water at the moment in this one. And so here goes Curry. Hits the crease now, he bowls, and that one's eased away, backward a point by Anderson. Picks up a single, and it is 23 for 3.
Well, Danny Lamb, who came down from Lancashire last season, we've spoken to him on a number of occasions this season. One of the signing of John Simpson, the signing of Danny Lamb. Sussex desperately needing some experience in the ranks. He scored 100 in the county championship. He's been excellent in this T20 campaign, but my word, that was a catch and a half. I mean, I was looking towards the boundary.
Yes, I was. I thought it had gone.
You know,
I all of a sudden was looking to the boundary, and then I realised the fielder had gone for it, and all the players in the background were jumping up.
Yes.
Nobody was going to the boundary. They were all jumping up and charging to backward point. Here's Curry. It really is a sprint in. It's almost like he's heading to the Paris Olympics, isn't it? That ball lifts outside the off stump and bounces out of the gloves of Simpson, standing up, and falls away into the offside.
I thought that was a dropped catch, but it isn't. It's been signalled a wide.
Ooh, that's it?
Yeah.
I missed that. Apologies.
Yeah. But for a moment, I thought he got a little tickle on that.
Well, it was the bounce. I thought that it's done for him. Beaten him anyway. In comes Curry, bowls, and that's hit in the air. Oh, and it's put down at backward point. Can you believe it? Now, is that Lamb again?
Yes, it is.
Oh, dear.
And he's hurt himself.
Yeah, his shoulder's hurt. He's put it down, and probably that was the easier chance of the two, but he's clearly got himself into an awkward position as he's tumbled, and that shoulder's in pain.
That's his left shoulder, and immediately that Danny Lamb went down, Tom Alsop was across, and that doesn't look good news at all for Danny Lamb, and he's going to go off the field. And that, I just wonder whether that, well, we'll have to wait. I wonder if that's John Morelli, the physio, is out. I wonder whether something has just popped out there. But
yeah, he seems up.
He's on his feet. Well, we'll have to wait and see. I would have thought if it was a dislocation or something like that, you'd have thought he'd go off the field to get that put back in. But it's he's just talking to John Morelli, but he tumbled to his right hand side. I mean, it was a terrific dive, but he's now got his hands on it, and he looks in some discomfort as Danny Lamb, and I'm not sure Danny Lamb's going to carry. Well, I'll tell you what, how the travails of a sportsman can change. A quite brilliant catch, and probably one of the catches of the season, to dismiss Max Holden. Then in the same over, diving away to his right hand side, he's injured his right shoulder. He's being led off the field by John Morelli, and that doesn't look good news for Danny Lamb.
Oh, and there I was about to roll out the line that a Lamb curry was proving too spicy for Middlesex. But the catch goes down and Lamb goes off.
Yeah, it doesn't look good, does it? He's sort of...
Well, it doesn't, but equally it's not, goodness me, we saw a horrible injury a couple of seasons back here, didn't we, when, who was it now, had to be stretchered off the field. He was in absolute agony, wasn't he? It was a Middlesex player, Unfortunately, it proved not to be too serious in the end. He went down, and goodness me, Adrian, you and I were really worried.
Was that Tom Helm?
Stretched off. Was it Helm?
Tom Helm injured his ankle.
Well, there was the ankle injury on the rope. That was Helm, but wasn't there somebody down below us? What is at the moment long leg? As here's Curry into bowl to Davies, dabs this ball into the offside, and there's no run. Because Helms was a serious injury. It was his ankle, if you remember, and he was out for a long time.
Yes, he was.
But there was a player who was down, and we were really concerned that, you know, this was a really bad injury, but he was back within a couple of weeks. I think it proved to be a dislocation. I'm trying to remember. Robbie White? Was it Robbie White? That's ringing a bell.
I think you might be right.
Because I'm trying to remember the conversation afterwards, a couple of weeks later. It was, he had his arm in a sling. As here goes Curry in bowls. Davies with a pickup. Hasn't quite got all of it, but he's got enough, and it goes over mid-wicket, and it goes for 4 runs. Pops over the boundary rope, and somebody leans over that advertising board there to collect the ball and throws it back into play for one of the fielders, saving their legs, running up the hill to the marquee on the far side. We've got those temporary stands put up on the far side, which look brilliant. They're filled, brimming overs tonight, and brimming with confidence. The Sharks, they are swirling around Middlesex at the moment. It's 28 for 3. Davies has 4. Anderson has 1. And that was the end of the 4th over.
It was indeed. You're listening to Live Cricket. A very good evening wherever you're listening from. BBC Radio Sussex, BBC Radio London. Adrian Harms, Kevin Hand, also on the Sussex live stream, where Sussex have made a good start, but the ground's just got a little quiet with that injury to Danny Lamb. Ollie Robinson comes running into bowl to Martin Anderson. I thought he'd nick that behind. Robinson bowling with good pace here this evening. We haven't got the benefit of a speed gun, but that was sharp, and John Simpson took that away towards his right shoulder. And it's a dot ball, and Sussex tonight, after that really disappointing performance last night down at Taunton, look to have the bit between their teeth. There will be a 12th man on, because Danny Lamb, in attempting that second catch in the over, has left the field with an injury to his shoulder. So we'll try and pick out who the 12th man is, but meanwhile Robinson is in from the C end of the ground, bowls and edge down towards third man. It's going to race away down towards the dugouts down in the corner of the ground. Very good bit of fielding down there by, I think, James Coles. He's a long way down in the distance, but 2 to Anderson. He goes to 3, and Middlesex to 30 for 3. Ollie Carter has tended to be the 12th man for Sussex. I'm just sort of looking around the field to see if it is Carter, as Robinson already back to his mark. 2 wickets already he's taken this evening. Comes running into bowl to Anderson. He bowls, and Anderson pulls that one away back to the square on the leg side. It's gone all the way for a boundary. Pulled away by Anderson. Tom Clark can't do anything about that. And he retrieves the ball by the clock tower scoreboard. 4 more to Anderson. He goes to 7, and the Middlesex total to 34 for 3 in the 5th.
You were nearly as impressed, or nearly as unimpressed, with my lamb curry combo being too spicy for Middlesex pun as my daughter was with all my dad jokes on the south coast on the seafront this afternoon. Shook her head just in the same. In fact, she's just pulled the same face now that you pulled when I said that one, Adrian.
Robinson on his way, bowls. That's a terrific delivery by Ollie Robinson, and he appeals. And Jack Chantry on this occasion decides that's not out. That wasn't the case with Steve Eskenazi, who was given out OW for 6. Louis Deploy making 6, and Mac Holden making 6. So right down the scorecard for Middlesex this evening. Just keeping an eye on matters down in Cardiff, where Glamorgan have made a good start against Somerset. They're 54 without loss. Kieran Carlson is on 30, and Will Smale, who played very well here a couple of weeks ago, on 23. That after 5 overs. Robinson in, bowls. Anderson lofts that down the ground. That's going to race away for 4 runs. Tamal Mills is in hot pursuit, but once the ball goes past the infield and rolls down the hill here at Hove, it's very difficult to stop. But it's the second boundary in the over for Anderson, who goes to 15, and Middlesex to 42 for 3 in the 5th over.
Is this like your Dave Fletcher and Lee's Deploy at Derbyshire? He couldn't stand the Deploy puns. Dave Fletcher, every time, it's like, I've heard it every single week, Kev. Do you get the lamb curry combo every single week?
No, not really. In comes Robinson over the wicket, bowls, and Anderson's beaten outside the off stump, taken low down by John Simpson. There is no run. End of the over. 38 for 3. Davis on 4. Martin Anderson on 11. We haven't spoken about John Simpson, who's been terrific for Sussex this season. 3 championship hundreds. He's also weighed in at various times during the the T20 as well. Just give your summary of John Simpson and his time when he was at Middlesex, Kevin.
Oh, goodness me. I mean, I'll put it better. I'll tell you what Angus Fraser said of him, because we sat there one afternoon, I remember. Towards the end, it was either at the start of this season he'd gone or back end of last season before he'd gone. And I remember Gus saying, you look through it and you look through the Middlesex great wicket keepers over the years. The Middlesex don't really have many that top Simpson in the modern era for the number of dismissals, but even the average, and what always hung over him was he didn't score enough runs. But actually, when you put him up against all the rest of the Middlesex keepers, it wasn't too bad. As his Curry in bowls, swing and a miss from Davies, a ball outside the off stump on a length. He tried to pick up into the gap over, I say the gap, the space over the back of mid-on and mid-wicket. But the ball is, I hope that's non-alcoholic, Adrian.
I think it's so hot in here. Is unfortunately
it is. You're going to tell me the aircon's broken.
The air conditioning is broken.
Oh, the windowless box has no air conditioning.
Yeah, the air conditioning is broken, unfortunately.
We'll be stripping down in a minute, Adrian. It's sweltering in here.
You don't want to see that.
You've got long trousers on, as is. A length ball outside the off stump, but it's cut away into the covers. There was a cry of catch. I fancied it was in between the two, and it was. It's racing away. Cover and extra cover, bisected by Davies. Middlesex have another boundary, 42 for 3. Davies moves to 8. That's all right. There'll be plenty of cold water on offer somewhere for us. There used to be a cold water machine next door. It's gone.
There is a tap.
Curry hits the crease, bowls, and a swing and a miss again from Davies. This ball deflects to point. And the umpire is signalling what, a wide?
He's signalled wide in the previous over, and he's signalled a wide now. Yes.
It does, yeah. So that deflected out of the gloves of Simpson to point. And he's standing up. I guess that's why it probably doesn't look so wide, because he's just got to throw a hand to it, but then it'll be considerably wide. When he stood back, a wide looks a lot wider, doesn't it? I guess he's got to move considerably, but there it's either you throw a glove to it and it hits or it doesn't. As Curry comes into Davies, who works back at a square on the leg side. Long chase here for deep backward square. He's going to dive, and he's going to be beaten. Over the rope it goes. 4 runs. And Middlesex tick towards 50 in the power play. There's 3 balls left of it, and they're 47 for 3.
Well, it's been a decent recovery by these two, hasn't it? Because at 22 for 3, so only 25, and just giving Middlesex some respectability, as you say, here in the power play.
Curry is in bowls, and Davies wristily swats this one in front of deep square. Goodness me, that's quality cricket from Davies. He started to show his class in the last couple of weeks, Jack Davies, I have to say. A brilliant 50, a maiden T20 50 at Cheltenham College last week, and those last 2 shots there, manoeuvring the ball either side of the deep square fielder. The roll of the wrists on that one was quality, the timing was good. It's a big boundary away to the square side for the left-hander as he faces from the Cromwell end. It brings up the Middlesex 50. They're 51 for 3, and there are 2 balls left to the power play as Curry moves down the hill again. He bowls, and this is eased into the offside by Davies. Tobacco point, there's no run.
Just looking, the replacement fielder is Finn Hudson-Prentice, number 33, who's come on for Danny Lamb, who, just to reiterate, took a quite wonderful catch to dismiss Max Holden, but then in the same over dropped Jack Davies with a similar chance, and in so doing hurt his right shoulder, or maybe his collarbone, but it looked nasty, and he's left the field.
51 for 3. Last ball of the power play. It's Curry bowls. Davies steps across, cuts hard in between cover and extra cover. It's going to be 4. Middlesex will finish the first 6 overs of their innings. Power play 1. They are 55 for 3 after 6. Davies moves to 20. Anderson has 11. Middlesex have a bit of a start once more in this innings now.
Well, a decent recovery for Middlesex, having at one stage been 22 for 3. If you just joined us, a very good evening. Welcome to Live Cricket on the BBC, the final group matches of the T20 Blast. Middlesex winning the toss, deciding to bat first. On a glorious evening on the south coast, there is literally, well, from where we're looking, there is not a cloud in the sky. And Smal Mills is going to take up the Sussex attack. 23 wickets on a colony rate of 7.5 this season for the Sussex skipper, and he's running into bowl to the right-handed Martin Anderson, who's on 11. In comes Mills. Bowls, that's a full toss, and Anderson clubs that one away down towards third man. They've taken win, they'll think about 2, but there isn't a second. That's a good bit of fielding down there, all the way down in the distance by It's a long way down there.
Big fella.
Well, it might be
Robinson.
Well, it might be Ollie Robinson. Yeah, who's fielded excellently in this competition. He got a run out down at Bristol.
What's he signalling? They want him up. Short, fine leg.
Possibly. Yeah. Sussex have got.
He's the biggest of the lot. It's got to be Robinson, isn't it?
Yeah. Harrison Ward's a tall fella as well, who's just picked up a gig in the 100. So congratulations to Harrison. In comes Mills, bowls, and a swing and a miss from Davis, taken by a tumbling John Simpson, and there is no run. Simpson immediately takes off his glove. I hope that's not another injury. He's
skidded through, didn't it? Now
he did. I don't know if he's looking at his finger or whether he's perhaps tying up his bootlace. Either way, he looks okay, does John Simpson.
Davies suggested that ball moved. It was very full, wasn't it? And then there was that little shape, that little movement of the hand from Davies to suggest that one moved off the straight.
Mills runs away from us. Coming into bowl to Jack Davis, who's 20 not out. He's in on bowls, and Davis, good delivery by Tomo Mills up in the block hole, and Daniel Hughes fields in the covers. There is no run. In fact, Sussex were down at Taunton last night. Tomo was telling us that he didn't get to bed till 3 o'clock. There are other players who, when they get back to Hove, then have got car journeys as well. So I know Middlesex were playing at Chelmsford last night, so none of these players have had an awful lot of sleep in the last 24 hours.
So the last one on that Chelmsford, so basically if Middlesex had have set up Radlett at the start of the season, Radlett again at the end of the season, the costs was setting them up on 2 separate occasions far outweighed than let's go and play at Chelmsford and split the money with Essex.
In comes Mills and bowls, and Davis clips this one away through mid-wicket. They've taken 1, they'll think about 2, but a good bit of fielding way out in the distance by Finn Hudson-Prentice. No, yes. And it's just a single. Total goes to 57 for 3. Davis 21, Anderson is on 12.
Oh, I wish I'd come and play down here. It's lovely, isn't it? Came down nice and early this morning. Enjoyed the day. Had a walk from here all the way to Brighton Pier and back again.
Oh, that's a long way. In comes Mills. Over the wicket, bowls, and Anderson defends onto the leg side. They've taken 1, they'll think about 2 here. It's well judged by Anderson. Well, Davis was keen to come back from the second, but he made the right decision because Tom Clark is a very fine fielder. He was in very quickly and just prevented the second run being taken. 58 for 3. Anderson goes to 13. Did you have a dip?
I didn't, but I can't remember if you asked me on air or off air. There were lots of people in the sea today. It was gorgeous. When he looked over Brighton Pier, looking out to, what would it be, the east, looking the other way, the amount of people in the sea. The beach was packed, the sea was packed. It was gorgeous. Could have been anywhere in the world.
In comes Mills, bowls, and Davis hammers that. That's a nice shot. That's a beautiful shot. A bit too short from Tamal Mills, and Davis just rocked back and played a proper cricket shot, just punching the ball away through mid-off for 4 runs. Lovely looking shot from Davis. End of the over, and Middlesex are 62 for 3 at the end of the 7th, so an over that cost 7 runs. Davis going along very nicely. He's on 25. Anderson is on 13, and this partnership between these pair has that's the 50 partnership. No, it's not. It's the 40 partnership between these two.
That's just as good. Well, nearly as good. I tell you what, I did have a dip on though, Adrian.
Go on.
The Dolphin Derby. Have you ever had a go on it down the end of the pier?
No.
Oh, it's great fun. You roll the ball up. You know the one you have to roll it up, like the old the horse derby, where you roll it up and then they all jog along, don't they? They hop along down the course.
Okay, yeah,
it's
I know
the
what you
Dolphin
mean.
Derby on Brighton Pier. Here is
Jack Carson
in bowls, and working away off the back foot is Anderson, a single out to deep mid wicket, and it is 63 for 3. 5 goes, Adrian. I shouldn't have had a dip. I lost all 5 games on there on the Dolphin Derby. You'd be good at that. You need to get the gang down there. You've got a couple of daughters, haven't you?
I have.
The missus down there, and you can lose all 5 games as well. Oh, it's an expensive loss, for Taylor.
Just to say, Glamorgan are going on very nicely against Somerset. They're 79 without loss after 8 overs. Kieran Carlson, who's a fine player, is 50 not out.
Carson's around the wicket now to bowl to Davies. Reverse sweep, thumps onto the pads, but going down the leg side. And no runs taken as it goes to short third. The good news is, though, there's a good news end to this. Sophia won all 5 of them.
That's your daughter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Big smile on her face. She won a few prizes as well. It's her birthday week. She's 10 this week. Here's Carlson bowls and bowls, and this ball's onto the pads, looking to sweep. There it goes. So happy birthday, Sophia, for Sunday.
The other game which Sussex will be interested in is the game down at Southampton tonight, where Hampshire are 71 without loss against Essex. James Vince going along very nicely. He's on 34. Hasn't had a great season in the T20, Vince.
This ball's clipped out to deep mid wicket by Davies. Single taken, 64 for 3. Davies moves to 26.
It's so good to see a cricket ground full, isn't it? I mean, the capacity here, well, the stands at the far end are slightly smaller than they've been in previous years, but, 4,500 in here, Friday night cricket. Can't beat it, really.
This ball short, cut away, out to deep point for a single, 65 for 3. Is that still your profile picture on WhatsApp, Adrian? You walking your daughter down the aisle? That's a lovely picture. You look great in that when you did. Was it on your WhatsApp, your profile picture? I see it. I remember seeing you saying that. Look, that was an absolutely gorgeous shot of you. Never mind your daughter. You look great in that picture you did, Adrian. Here's Carson. He's around the wicket. Bowls from the Cromwell Road end. This ball's clicked away off the back foot, out to deep mid wicket. 66 for 3. You got one of them married off. Is the other one married off yet?
I've got 3 daughters.
3? How many out of 3 have you got married off so far?
1 so far.
Well, you're having better luck than I had in the Dolphin Derby anyway. 5-0 I lost.
End of the 8th over, and Middlesex are 66 for 3, with Jack Davis on 27. Martin Anderson is on 15. These two coming together when the total was on 22 for 3. A couple of wickets for Ollie Robinson and a wicket for Brad Curry, and we're going to get spin at both ends, having had that over from Jack Carson. It's going to be James Coles who's going to be bowling from the C end of the ground here on BBC Radio Sussex, BBC Radio London, online as well, and also via the Sussex Cricket Club live stream. James Coles, one of 4 Sussex players who'll be playing in the 100. James Coles and Tom Alsop playing for the Southern Brave at Southampton. Ollie Robinson going up to the Trent Rockets, and Harrison Ward will be playing for the Oval Invincibles. So a terrific opportunity for all 4 of those. And it's James Coles, who's got 15 wickets in the competition so far. Left arm over the wicket, in and bowls. Davis driving hard down the ground, but only as far as Finn Hudson-Prentice, who trots in from long off and fields. But it's one more to Davis, who's 28 off 18, batting very nicely, the left-handed Middlesex wicketkeeper. And it brings the tall figure of Martin Anderson on strike. Anderson 15 of 12 deliveries. Coles is in, around the wicket bowls, and Anderson down the wicket. I just hesitated for a moment because it was in the air, but it was perfectly safe. And again, it's Hudson-Prentice who comes in from the long on boundary. A couple of bounces and fields, one more to the total. Anderson goes to 16, Middlesex to 68 for 3 in the 9th over. Coles in his blue shirt, number 30 on the back, is in and bowls, and that turned. And it's going to be a bye. We'll wait for the umpire's signal. It's a leg bye, but that looked to me like it turned.
It did, and bounced. Bounced.
It's the 3rd time this pitch has been used. Tamal Mills was telling us at the toss.
Is Andy McKay still groundsman here? Did he head off somewhere else?
No, he's not. In comes Coles, and Anderson swings away, and he's going to be caught at deep backward square. And James Coles picks up a wicket in his first over, clicked away by Martin Anderson. Tom Clark taking the catch. Another wicket goes down, and James Coles adds to his impressive tally in the T20 Blast this season. That's 16 wickets he's picked up, and Middlesex are 69 for 4.
Yeah, shame that for Anderson. He had been opening in the absence of Eskenazi. It had gone relatively well. He got 49 last night. Got a little bit stuck in an over trying to find the single to bring up his 50, and then he holed out to a screaming catch out in the deep as he hooked away what looked like it would be 4 in his 50, but it was actually a brilliant catch, and he was out on 49. But yeah, he falls. In comes Higgins, wearing number 29 on his back, and well, he's a talismanic figure nowadays for Higgins, for Middlesex. Higgins to Gloucestershire and back again for Ryan Higgins, and Middlesex are mightily relieved that he's back, because he's a key performer in all formats for his side now, and they need a big performance from him here.
James Coles comes in, bowls to Higgins, who defends onto the leg side and picks up a single as John Simpson nips from behind the stumps to field. One more to the total, which goes to 70 for 4. Higgins is on his way. Davis on 28. One more ball remaining in this, the 9th over of the innings. And nice and tidy from James Coles, who was away with the England Lions in the winter. Still just 20 years of age. He's in and bowls. That's short, pulled away, and that's not a great delivery, but is he going to be caught? No, he's not. He swung that high, wide and handsome as Jack Davis. That wasn't a great delivery at all by James Coles. I just thought for a moment that it was going straight to the fielder at deep backward square, but it cleared his head. It's gone for 6 runs. Davis goes to 34. He's batting very nicely off 20 deliveries, and Middlesex at the end of the 9th are 76 for 4.
Yeah, they're in this game. I mean, you know, last night Gloucestershire reached 84 for 2 after 10 overs. Middlesex in reply, 82 without loss after 10. Went on for a century stand for that opening wicket, but still lost the match. So Middlesex, they mustn't lose too much heart here. They've got a lot of batting. It goes a long way down as it is a big sweep, a big slog sweep from Higgins. It goes to short, fine leg. What they do need to be careful of, and this is one of these match situations where it tests the theory. Middlesex would much rather go for 200 and fall 140 short. Be all out for 60, but don't be all out for 140. Don't limp to 140. Go for the 200 as a team. As here's Carson around the wicket, a little reverse coming in from Higgins as well, but again I should say, but he's down on his knee and it thumps into the pads. Deo rings around the ground. Remember the name? Who sung that, Adrian? Go on. I've seen his house in the Caribbean. Drove past it on a bus tour. As here's Carson bowls. Clipped up into the air, but into space by Davies. He'll pick up a single. 78 for 4. I'm trying to remember which island it was of the Caribbean now. Come Mr. Tallyman, tally my bananas. Deo. Come on, who was it? No idea. Oh.
Go on.
No, I can't remember. That's what I'm asking you. His short ball cut away out to deep backward point, and they want to go forward. They do. It's fine with the fielder down the hill, of course, as well.
Yeah, once it races away, I mean, Tom Clark is as quick as anybody in the Sussex field, but they've all absolutely raced away. It was a good shot, wasn't it, by Ryan Higgins? And Clark with very little chance to cut that one off.
Harry Belafonte sung it. There we go. Here's a drive through the covers by Higgins for 4. He moves to 10, 86 for 4.
Nice shot that, wasn't it? And just, it's always interesting when Tamal Mills decides to bring himself back into the attack, and I think just having seen Jack Carson go for a couple of boundaries in this over, I noticed Tamal warming up, and I just wondered whether we might see the skipper into the attack. Back-to-back boundaries for Middlesex.
You know the song at least, though, don't you, Adrian?
I do.
Here's Carson, he's in, bowls, this is short, cut away, straight to the sweeper at deep cover points on this occasion. There's no run yet. It rings around the grounds now, doesn't it? The Deo of Harry Belafonte, who I'm not sure whether he was a cricket fan or not, but wonderful artist. What was it? Calypso music it was, wasn't it? That he sang. You're looking at me strangely. I'm sure you're a fan of that era. Come on. 1927.
I can't say I'm an expert.
He only passed away last year.
James Coles is going to carry on from this. The sea end, 87 for 4. Coming into bowl to the right-handed Ryan Higgins, who's moved very quickly onto 11 of just 5 deliveries. Coles is in, and Higgins swings this away, looks to swing the ball away, but the ball hit the pad and dribbled out in front of him, and there is no run. Talking about the Caribbean, really good to see the West Indies today, 351 for 4. Captain Hope making 121, just trailing England by 65 as in comes Coles, swung away by Higgins without timing onto the leg side. They've taken 1, they won't come back for a second because Tom Clark is there. Higgins goes to 12 and Middlesex to 88 for 4. Meanwhile down in Cardiff, Glamorgan 123 without loss in the 11th over. Kieran Carlson 88 not out of 40 balls. The importance of that game is that if Glamorgan beat Somerset and Sussex win here tonight, Sussex will have a home quarter-final. Coles in and bowls, swung away by Davis, and that's going to be his second maximum. That has gone many a mile. He's pulled that away. It was too short from James Coles, and Jack Davis absolutely hammering that one away into the Spain Karma Pavilion for a maximum. He goes to 41. He's playing very nicely here, Davis, and Middlesex goes to 94 for 4. Good shot.
Is it Brenda over there that has the box of balls?
It is, indeed.
Does she come along for the T20s?
Yes, she's in first in the queue for every single Sussex game.
Ah, brilliant.
Brenda Lower. In comes Coles, and cut away by Davis to the fielder at deep backward point. Fielded up, excuse me, by Tom Clark, who gets in the throw. One more to the total. Davis goes to 42 of 24 deliveries, and Middlesex to 95 for 4 in the 11th over. Coles in again, bowls, and Higgins is forward, plays that to short extra cover. There is no run, fielded there by Daniel Hughes, who's been excellent, the Australian, with the bat in this competition so far. 464 runs. Coles is in, bowls, pulled away by Higgins onto the leg side. Very good bit of fielding up there by Tom Alsop, who was very quickly round and on all fours, stopped the ball and got the throw away very quickly. And it's the end of James Cole's over. Middlesex are 96 for 4. Davis is on 42. Ryan Higgins is on 13. And that over went for 9 runs. So Middlesex just building a bit of momentum here, Kevin.
They are, and as I say, they go all the way down. They'll be looking still for nigh on 200 here, won't they? 11 overs gone, 9 remain, 96 for 4. Davies, I mean, he's rattled along, hasn't he, to 42. Fine job. Higgins at the other end. Big hitters all the way down, as we've said. Cornwall with that biggest 6 that well, as far as I'm concerned, that I've seen in 20 years of cricket at Lords. Tamal Mills, change of ends. He's down the hill from the Cromwell Road end. Left armour, Pacey's in, bowls, and that's driven away out to the deep cover boundary, and the single more is taken.
I thought that I could just see Tamal Mills just warming up, and what he's done so effectively in the competition is he's just brought himself back at the right time. And just as Middlesex are looking to step on the accelerator here, they're going along very nicely. 97 for 4 in the 12th. Mills brings himself back and takes Jack Carson out of the firing line for the time being. Carson 2 overs for 15.
Comes Mills, bowls.
It's got Miles.
Wow, that's a big pickup. Davies moves to 48 with a huge 6 over mid-wicket. That is a big boundary away to our right. I'd have to say, going by the 30-yard circle, that's at least 60 yards, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's a big blow, and I have to say that's probably a 6 on pretty much any ground, to be honest.
65 yards, maybe?
Yeah, and he's pulled that away, and I would imagine that we are probably going to need a new ball brought out. Ollie Robinson is just signalling, I think. I don't know, he's signalling towards the dressing room for something. And no ball has come out, which is all a bit... Brenda certainly brings the balls out for the county championship matches, maybe not so much for T20 matches. Now the physio is running around the boundary here as well. I'm not entirely sure what's going on. Have we got a problem in the crowd?
Oh dear, let's hope not.
No, I wonder if someone's been now. I think that's Ollie Robinson was saying. I think Ollie, he was pointing to his head. I think someone might have been hit by that ball that was swung into the stand, that temporary stand by the Clock Tower scoreboard.
Looking into the sun as well. I mean,
yeah,
you know, it's easy to sit here and say you must never take your eyes off a cricket ball at any match, but especially T20, but you're looking into the sun in that stand.
Well, we're carrying on as Mills is in, bowls to Jack Davies, who wristily plays that one into the leg side through mid-wicket, picks up his 49th run.
At the back of the stand he's gone. He hasn't even gone into the stand. He's gone around the back of the stand, this physio.
Yeah, and the total goes to 104 for 4. So that could be very distressing as well for Will Davis, obviously, who
do you remember the match
who
here
played that shot?
Luke Wright thumped one and it ramped up and it hit a lady on the back of the head to our right in the executive tents here. It kicked up off the rope, didn't it? Or whether it was a flat 4, I should say, and whether it bounced like a projectile over the advertising board. That was a worrying moment.
In comes Mills, bowls, Anderson drives all to mid-off. Well, it was one of those to Finn Hudson-Prentice. He was probably thinking about going for the catch, then wasn't too sure, then decided he was best to stop it, and in so doing he actually did neither, and it was just a single taken by Martin Anderson. Difficult, those ones, aren't they? You sometimes think, well, I'll commit to the catch, and then it can go through you for runs. In the end, I don't think it really quite carried to Hudson-Prentice. Higgins picks up a single. He goes to 15, 105 for 4 on Middlesex. In the 12th over here on BBC Radio Sussex, BBC Radio London, there's Mills on his way down the hill. 9 off the over, comes in and bowls to Davis, wide outside the off-stump. A slower delivery from Tamal Mills. Clever bit of bowling. And James Cole's fields at backward point. And there is a dot ball. Jack Carson claps his hands. Fielding here just inside the circle at short fine leg. Now Will Davis wants something brought out. I don't know if it's a new pair of gloves. I've just got half an eye on what's going on with that ball, which we assume hit a spectator.
Oh, is that the physio coming back? No, it's not.
In comes Tamal Mills. Over the wicket, bowls, and Davis punches that to mid-off and picks up a single. It means at the end of the over he will retain the strike. A profitable over in terms of Middlesex. It cost 10 runs at the end of the over. Middlesex are 106 for 4. Will Davis has played very nicely. He's on 50 off just 28 deliveries. Ryan Higgins with him is on 15.
But if you remember, Luke Wright, he was batting, bowling was from the C end, he was on strike, as memory serves, and he ran down to the sideline here to the corporate tent away to our right hand side, the hospitality tent, pads on, you know, to come and see that she was okay, and she was, and the game went on. But you know, he was really alarmed. Luke Wright, where's he gone nowadays? Bigger and better things for ITA. He's up there, isn't he?
He certainly is. James Coles, is it my over or yours, Kevin?
We switched ends somehow, haven't we?
We have.
It's your end. Go on, keep going.
Coles bowls to Davies, who hammers the ball down the ground, fielded by Finn Hudson-Prentice.
It was probably the injury, wasn't it?
Just, yeah, 107 for 4. Coles very quickly back to his mark. He's in again, bowls to Higgins, who swings this one away. Is he going to be caught? He should be caught. Good catch. Safe pair of hands as Tom Clark. He's got the sunglasses on. He's looking directly into the sun. But he very, very rarely drops a catch, does Tom Clark. And Ryan Higgins is on his way for 15. James Coles picks up his 2nd wicket of the innings, his 17th in T20 cricket this season. And Middlesex, having looked as if they were getting some momentum, are 107 for 5.
Yeah, I mean, they shouldn't panic, and you know, this is going to be, as I say, this is the test of the theory, isn't it, for Middlesex? They do bat a long way down. The fact you've got Luke Holman coming out at number 7, very, very fine bat. He got run out yesterday evening, and it was a disappointing way to go for him, but big chance tonight now with plenty of overs to go, lots of runs to be scored. Davies on 51, his 2nd T20. 52 in a week for Davies, and Holman, well, a chance for him here with what have we got now, 7.4 overs remaining to really do some damage.
Just looking here, Glamorgan are 140 without loss in the 13th over. Kieran Coulson 104 in 48 deliveries down at Cardiff, so Glamorgan are doing their bit to help Sussex. In comes James Coles to bowl to Luke Holman, who's forward and just eases that one down to long off, fielded in front of us by Finn Hudson-Prentice. Holman is on his way, and Middlesex goes to 108 for 5. That sounds like some innings from Kieran Coulson. It's an innings that's involved 12 fours and 5 sixes, striking at 216, not too bad. In comes Coles, bowls, and driven without timing by Davies, and James Coles fields off his own bowling, and there is no run. Coles wanders back to his mark. He's gone for a couple of 6s, but he's picked up a couple of wickets as well as the young Sussex spinner. He's in again, bowls, and Davies looking to pull that one away, looking for a 3rd 6. He's beaten outside the off stump, and this is a good over from James Coles. He's just conceded 2 runs. He's picked up the important wicket of Ryan Higgins. John Simpson is suggesting a field change, but then changes his mind, and James Coles is going to bowl the final ball of this 13th over. He's in and bowls, and he beats Davies outside of the off stump. That's a very good bit of bowling by James Coles. Just 2 runs coming off of the over. End of the 13th over. Middlesex are 108 for 5, having won the toss and decided to bat this evening.
Yeah, they've got a chance still to go big here. It's going to hinge on Davies, but they don't want to get in this position they were in last night, where it's all one man who's left stranded at the end. But right now, they probably take, what, 180 from here, Middlesex, 10 and over from this point. 5 wicket standing, yeah, I'd almost 100% take 180 from here, wouldn't they? What would that be from a Sussex perspective if they're chasing 180 to win, Adrian?
Well, I think, you know, with this really fast outfield, it's a good pitch as well. I think, you know, 180 will be a score that, I'm not saying it would be a match-winning score, but it would be a score that, you know, is defendable, perhaps.
Caster's back on from the Cromwell Road end. This is driven down to long off. It was Tamal Mills at the Cromwell Road end last up, wasn't it?
Yes, and this is Jack Carson back into the attack. Yeah. So he's he bowled the one over Tamal, and now Jack Carson back into the attack.
Carson bowls, and this ball is short down the leg side. Attempted sweep from Davies. It thumps off Simpson. It'll be a wide as it flicks away to short fine leg. Who did I say it was? I thought I said Carson.
You said Mills.
No, I said he's replacing Mills.
Oh, I see. Sorry.
Oh, goodness me. Yeah, slight change up of technique from Mills.
Yes, and
right
pace.
arm off. Yeah. Around the wicket comes Carson. He bowls. This is clipped away by Holman down to long on. 112 for 5. Carson bowling with the sunglasses on. He's got the shape of a former Middlesex spinner, although he was a left-armer, George Dockrell. Down to Somerset for a while as Carson's in, bowls. This is driven down to long on, and a single is taken. 113 for 5. We've got 6.3 overs remaining of this innings, which with my appalling maths I would suggest is 39 deliveries, and they will be making a run for the pizza in the interval. Did you go for pizza today, Adrian? As
No.
Carson, he bowls, and this is clipped to short fine leg for a single, 114 for 5. Pizza at Greg's, they're good, aren't they, the pizzas at Greg's?
They might have already gone. There's a big crowd in tonight.
Oh, Adrian, don't say that to me. Oh no. What's my backup choice then if the pizza's gone at Greg's? Can I call an order through? It's Carson. He steps in, bowls, and this ball's into the block hole. A swing and a miss from Davies. Well, not a swing and a miss, a swing and a bottom edge, which trickles away into the onside.
It's good this from Jack Carson. What have we had? 4 singles off the over. He did bowl a wide as well, so 5 off the over so far.
They're playing the Adams family now. Here goes Carson, he bowls. Flat one, it's short, it's in the air, it could be out, it's gone. Mid-wicket takes the catch, Davies falls for 52.
Tom Clark again.
And it was a comfortable one, other than looking into the sun out at deep mid-wicket. Carson strikes, Middlesex lose a costly 6 wickets. It's their man who's reached 50, Davies. A fine bit of form, a fine bit of confidence at the moment for Davies. It's not going to be tonight though. At the moment they're a long way short because Middlesex as a team have barely mustered the same that Davies has alone. He's gone for 52. The visitors here at Hove are 114 for 6.
Yeah, and I mean Sussex this season have done particularly well batting wise. On 7 occasions they've gone past 200 in this competition, very much led by Daniel Hughes. But you know, there'll be a little bit of pressure on. I'm sure it'll be very difficult to keep the score away from Sussex. What's happening down in Cardiff, where I mean Glamorgan, they would look to be on the course for a huge score. I mean, you never quite know, but 160 without loss in the 14th over. I mean, that is extraordinary. And just to reiterate, if Sussex win and Somerset lose in Cardiff tonight, Sussex would have a home quarter-final, which would certainly please the number crunchers here at Hove. Coles in again, bowls to the new, no, it's not, to Luke Holman. With a play and a miss outside the off stump, there is no run.
Josh Carey's the new batter at the non-strikers end. Again, you know, a big batter for Middlesex, big name batter.
Sussex has got the squeeze on here. Coles over the wicket, bowls and hammered away down to long on by Holman. Just a single though. He goes to 4, and the total to 115 for 6 here on BBC Radio Sussex, DAB, BBC Radio London, online, and also on the Sussex Cricket Club live stream. Wherever you're listening and watching, a very good evening to you at a packed out Hove. Sold out tonight. Not a cloud in the sky. It's really T20 as it's meant to be. James Coles around the wicket in bowls, and defending his De Cares down the onside of the pitch. This is very good by James Coles, who's in his. Just break off for a moment as Coles is back to his mark. Comes in again to bowl to De Cares. He cuts this one away firmly through the offside. It's just going to be a single fielded by Ollie Robinson. He's got a good arm, Robinson, straight into John Simpson, and it's just a single. James Coles in his final over. He's picked up 2 wickets, and so far off this over, just the 2 runs. Coles off, and he was hit for 2 sixes as well. So Coles in bowls, and is it going to be? Oh, no, he's not. It was skewed away off the outside edge, just out of the reach of Tom Alsop, who was running back from backward point. And a couple of runs to Luke Coleman. He goes to 6, Middlesex to 116 for 6. And this will be the final ball of James Cole's spell. Just 4 off the over so far. These are 2 for 24. In he comes, bowls, and Holman hammers this down the ground. Is that going to go for a boundary? It is thumped, gun barrel straight by Luke Holman. That's a good shot to finish off the over. Nonetheless, it's a good spell of bowling by James Coles. Luke Holman goes to 10, and at the end of the 14th over, Middlesex are, sorry, the 15th over, Middlesex are 122 for 6.
Yeah, Carey's, he can certainly bats, and that was how he came through the ranks at Middlesex. And leads Bradford Uni. It's opening bat. He's got the shots, he's got the game. Scampers hard between the wickets, and well, Middlesex is spin twins at the moment. They've obviously got Nathan Fernandez, Tilan Wallaluita as well, but these 2 are the men in possession. As here's Carson, a spinner himself, off spinner bowls, and to fellow off spinner De Caries, the right hander turns a single out to deep mid wicket. He moves to 2 from 3, They're just in a little bit of a situation here, Middlesex, aren't they, where they've got to count down the overs now. 4.5 overs actually is a lot when you've only got 4 wickets standing. And 2 pretty new batters to the crease. This ball's dabbed into the offside by Holman. Mistimed, and another dot ball. But again, they can't panic about dot balls. They've almost got to leave it late and then charge now, Middlesex.
Just see Tamel Mills. He's still got 2 to bowl, just warming up.
This one is thumping onto the pads, and an appeal goes from Carson and some of the crowd as well. Simpson runs around to collect for Middlesex, and just a dot ball again. 3rd ball of the 16th over. Here's Carson, Cromwell Road end, steps in, bowls, and this is a little tickle into the onside by Holman, who will pick up a single, moves to 11 from 11, back to De Carey's. I guess one of the pair could be seen as the one to gamble, or maybe both, and then the one that stays has to be there in the 20th. That might be a way of going about it. They both go big from now, and if one gets out, then the other one has to be there, down to pretty much the last couple of deliveries. Carson over the wicket to De Carey's, 2 from 3. Off break bowler to right-hander, reverse sweep, thumps onto the pads. It's a low full toss and it's gone. Didn't even pitch. De Carey's misses, and De Carey's has to walk off. The finger goes up from umpire. I was going to say umpire Chantry. It's not at that end.
No, it's umpire Ben Debenham.
Debenham, thank you. 1, 2, 4, 4, 7. And well, a thumping tune rings around Hove. This could be a thumping for Middlesex unless they can really find some runs quickly in the final couple of overs of this innings.
Yeah, it was a full toss, wasn't it? He was looking. I was looking down here towards what would be 3rd man, but the ball thumping into the pads, and it's not going to be easy for Middlesex here. Tamel with 4 overs to go. Mills will bowl 2 of them. Robinson will bowl 1, and I'd imagine Curry will be the other because Jack Carlson will be bowled out. He's picked up 2 wickets tonight. James Coles has picked up 2, so maybe a little bit in the pitch for the spinners. But a vastly improved Sussex performance, certainly in the field tonight. I think their catching has been excellent. Certainly set off on the right note by Danny Lamb with that absolutely outstanding catch, diving away at backward point, but then hurting his shoulder. And Danny is okay. We'll find out after the game.
Carson's over the wicket to Cullen, and forward goes the right-hander. Thick inside edge ricochets through square, and they have a single. 1, 2, 5 for 7. End of the over. Picked up De Carey's. It was a full bunger. Got away with it. De Carey's missing the reverse sweep. Now Middlesex 1, 2, 5 for 7. So Cullen has 1. Holman has 11. And with Brooks and Noah Cornwall to come, Middlesex do need to be a little bit careful. That was what we were saying in terms of them hitting out. And how they go about it, whether Cullen's given the freedom to swing at this stage and Holman just tries to hold until the end. But there's still 24 deliveries. It's a lot of deliveries. Maybe Holman starts to go hard in the 19th. Lets Cullen try to hit out, and maybe allows Brooks, if he comes in, to hit out as well. A long way short at the moment, Middlesex.
Yeah, they are. Tamel Mills is going to bowl his penultimate over. He will bowl himself out here now. Tamel Mills running up the hill away from us, comes in and bowls to Cullen, who works this to backward point. And there is no run. Just keeping you right up to date with events down in Cardiff, where Glamorgan are 184 for 1 after 15 overs. Kieran Colston 120 in 55 balls. Will Smale made 59. Colin Ingram is the new man in, who's just a single to his name. And down at Southampton, Hampshire 140 for 3 against Essex. Essex who could move up to 3rd place if they win that game. Mills in, bowls, cut away by Cullen. Just a single out to the sweeper on the cover boundary. I think Sussex will be quite happy just to concede singles at this stage. I mean, Middlesex will just be hoping they can sort of nudge themselves up to around about 150 if they can, Kevin. This is very reminiscent of the Sussex innings down at Taunton last night.
Well, yeah, that's it. You hang in there at times. Only we talked about Middlesex, they wanting to go big and go for 200 rather than, you know, trickle their way to a 140 or so, but at the moment they'd obviously bite your arm off for that 140, 150. Sharks have their own bite.
Mills in, bowls, played away by Holman. Good bit of fielding there at backward point by Tom Alsop. Prevents anything more than a single. Holman goes to 12, 127 for 7. What could we expect from Henry Brooks or no.
Well, Brooks can swing hard. You know, he's got the shots and he's got the game as well. He's not just a slogger. And well, Cornwall, as I told you, cleared cleared the grandstand. So yeah, you can expect a bit from them. The key thing here is how does Holman play this, because he's the true batter of the pack.
Mills in, bowls to Cullen, who just defends onto the onside. Now they think they might take two here, because racing in from the deep mid-wicket boundary is Tom Alsop. There's a good bit of fielding, because they were thinking about coming back for the second, but then decided not to. It was probably a wise decision. Cullen goes to 3, Middlesex to 128 for 7. We're in the 17th of the 20 overs. The sun is just starting to set away in the west, and a big shadow just encroaching across the county ground at Hove on a glorious evening. Best evening of the summer so far for T20 cricketers. Mills is in, over the wicket, bowls and swung away. That's a super shot by Luke Holman, and that's gone for 4 runs. It just bounced about a foot inside the boundary rope, hammered the ball away through extra cover. Nice shot by Holman. He goes to 16, and Middlesex to 132 for 7. Right up the middle of the back from Holman. 1 more ball to go in this over, 7 off of the over. I think Sussex would settle for 7 off an over at this stage. Mills, who I'm sure will bowl the penultimate over. I'm not sure who'll bowl this next over. It will either be Brad Curry or Ollie Robinson, I would imagine, as Mills is in again. Bowls and dug out by Holman, but only as far as short extra cover where Daniel Hughes fields, and there is no runs. A good over from Tamal Mills, conceding just the 7 runs, and at the end of the 17th over, Middlesex are 132 for 7 with Luke Holman on 16. Blake Cullen is on 3. And you're listening to live cricket on BBC Radio Sussex and London. Adrian Harms and Kevin Hand, and it looks to me as if it's going to be, no, I was thinking Ollie Robinson, but it looks like it might be Brad Curry who's going to bowl his final over. 3 overs, 1 for 25 from Brad Curry. Jack Carson, the spinner, 4 overs, 2 for 23. James Coles, the left-arm spinner, 4 overs, 2 for 28.
And his left arm over the wicket. Cromwell Road end bowls outside off stump. It's dragged by Cullen off a length down to long on for a single. Cullen moves to 4, 1, 3, 3, 4, 7.
Well, a run of ball, Kevin, gets Middlesex to 150, which you know, it gives them something to bowl at. But still a bit of, I mean, I was thinking of the game down here on Saturday, which is a high-scoring game. Sussex making 207, Essex 211 for 5. So you know, I think Middlesex are definitely under par.
This ball short, cut away. That's the deep cover boundary, and he'll get
Good
through
shot
as well. 4 runs it is for Holman. He moves to 20 from 15. So there's a chance for Holman still. Still runs to be scored, isn't there? There's deliveries to face.
Yeah, and he's seen the spinners bowl very well on this pitch. They've taken 4 of the wickets, so Holman, who's the leading wicket taker in the Blast this season, 24 wickets, he'll perhaps fancy his chances here tonight.
It's Curry to Holman again. 2.4 overs to go. What can he get out of it? He clips this one just wide of long on, just short of long on as well. They run the first hard, but there's only 1 in it. It's charging down the hill. He's the fielder at long on to collect. Throw comes into the gloves of Simpson. And 1 more is taken. It gives strike back to Cullen. Again, at this stage, I think there is the freedom here for Cullen to really swing hard now. There's enough. They're far enough through the innings that, you know, batting out your overs and wasting deliveries, you know, you don't need to worry about that too much now. As in comes Curry, Cullen backs away and cuts the ball down the ground for a single down to long off. Flat batted effort.
Good fielder down there, Finn Hudson-Prentice. That could have easily been 2, but he's really quick across the ground. And he saved a couple of runs there for Sussex. But you're right, Kevin. Like Cullen is certainly looking as if he's going to have a dip here.
Long off and long on back, short fine leg and short third up inside the circle. It means it's all going to be into the block hole, and this one's into the block hole but onto the heel of Holman, who guides it fine of Mills for 4, and Holman ticks along. He's on to 25. Middlesex are 143 for 7, and they're starting to look again now towards maybe even 170.
Well, it was a good shot, wasn't it? You've got the Sussex got the fine leg to Mills up inside the circle, and it was nicely played, very fine, and nothing that Mills could do about that. Good batting by Holman.
Halfway through his run-up now, Curry. He bowls, it's into the block hole once more, and Holman drops a quick single in front of short extra cover, which means he keeps the strike. There are 12 deliveries left. 2 overs to go of the Middlesex innings here at Hove in the Blast. They are 144 for 7. What can they hope for off these final couple of overs? 25 maybe? It's a little greedy. Never know. It depends whether they can tee off or not.
Well, 12 off of that over from Brad Curry. I guess Middlesex will think if they can take 12 off the last 2 overs. I mean, that won't be easy against Robinson and Mills. And in fact, Ollie Robinson is going to bowl his final over here up the hill. But Middlesex will at least feel they've got some sort of a score. Whether it's enough, we'll have to wait and see. I think Sussex will be very pleased with the way they've bowled tonight, the way they've caught as well. Last night was a bad day at the office for Sussex, no question about that. But they've responded well here tonight. In comes Ollie Robinson, around the wicket, comes in and bowls to Luke Holman, right up in the block hole, and Holman plays the ball back to Robinson, who fields well, diving to his left, then shies at the stumps just to keep Holman on his toes, and it's a dot ball from Ollie Robinson. The applause you heard in our effects microphone was Finn Hudson-Prentice just down below us. It's really packed at Hove. I'm just looking at the corporate hospitality away to our right-hand side, people enjoying the sort of remaining remnants of what's going to be a glorious day. The sun just beginning to set away, and Hove looking a picture as Robinson comes around the wicket, bowls to Luke Holman, and Holman, well, he took pace off. Oh dear, that's a poor bit of wicket keeping by John Simpson, and the ball's going to run away for 4 byes. It was a slower delivery from Ollie Robinson, which I think deceived John Simpson. He did take it cleanly, and the ball has run away for 4 runs, so a real bonus there for Middlesex. And the total goes to within 2 of the 150. 10 balls left in the innings. And these two just, well, what they came together, it was 124, so what have they added? 24. And they're just easing Middlesex up towards a, I'm not going to say a respectable total, but a total they'll feel that, you know, they might have a chance with. Robinson in and bowls. Oh, that was quick. That was really quick. It was, the one before was a slower delivery, and Luke Holman was looking to take a step away and cut that one away over third man, but he was beaten for pace, and Simpson made sure that he took that cleanly. It's a dot ball. 3 dot balls in the over so far from Ollie Robinson, but one of those dot balls going for 4 byes. 148 for 7. 9 balls remaining in the innings. Ollie Robinson with 2 wickets to his name this evening runs away from us. Into bowl to the left-handed Luke Holman, right up in the block hole, and Holman gets a big thick hit-side edge on that, well fielded down at short fine leg by Harrison Ward. It's just a single to Holman. He goes to 27 off 22. Middlesex to 149 for 7. Just the 1 run off this over so far. Now Ollie Robinson wants a change in the field. He's moving his 3rd man back onto the boundary. 3 men inside the circle. There's 3 on the offside and a short fine leg. They are the 4 men inside the 30-yard circle as Robinson runs away from us. In and bowls, and Cullen steps away and he loses his off stump, and Ollie Robinson says thanks very much, and that's the 3rd wicket that goes down, and it's been a terrific penultimate over from Ollie Robinson. Cullen goes for 5 and Middlesex are 149 for 8.
Yep, blow, but he had to swing at this stage. Delivery's running out. He was on 5. Brooks still sat back in Cornwall as well. So every right, and perhaps a little bit of pressure as well to swing and swing hard for Cullen. He can certainly connect, and the fact that he's coming in ahead of Brooks tells you how Middlesex rank him as a batter. But here comes Brooks now. Big, tall, strong man Brooks, and if he connects, the ball will depart. That's what Middlesex will hope. They need somebody alongside Holman to bolster this now, but obviously Holman himself would dearly love the strike. Although this is the last ball of the over, isn't it? So basically Brooks swing for the sea, basically, as Robinson will run up the hill here at Hove.
Well, excellent figures yet again by Ollie Robinson, who's been a real bonus for Sussex in this competition. 3 for 27 for Ollie Robinson, and this penultimate over has only gone for, well, it's gone for 5, but only one of those has come off the bat. There were 4 byes. Robinson coming in to bowl to the new man, who's Henry Brooks. He's in and bowls right up in the block hole, and Brooks defends down the offside. And that is really, really good from Ollie Robinson. figures of 3 for 27 in his 4 overs. Sussex really didn't think he'd be available for much of this competition. He's played in 13 of the matches, and he has been excellent. And I know some quarters of the press have written off Ollie Robinson. Well, they should have watched some of this T20 campaign, because he has been absolutely excellent. 149 for 8. Brooks yet to score. Holman on 27.
Well, Middlesex fell 10-11 runs short last night, and yeah, it was a fine margin in the end, where they were going so strong for so long, and then it looked as though they were falling well short, and they fell 10-11 short. And really, for me, it was the last couple of balls of the 19th over that were really costly. They got a wide, which then gave them another go at the last couple of balls of the penultimate over. Those garnered just a single, and that for me was when Middlesex's chase really fell apart at the end. And well, the last couple of balls of the 19th, again, not going right for Middlesex tonight. A dot ball and a wicket. Here's Mills for the last over, bowling to Holman, who steps back slightly, just clears the front foot, carves a single out to deep point. Not really what he or Middlesex wanted. He moves to 28. Over to Brooks. Brooks has got to swing, and really he's got to swing and lay bat on it. Whether it's just 1 or 4 or 6, but he's either got to get a boundary or get Holman onto strike here.
Yeah, just looking at the score in Cardiff, Glamorgan 195 for 1, Kieran Carlson 135 off 64 balls. That is some knock, and he'll be going for, could be all sorts of records set to tumble if he carries on like that.
Mills skips away and then sprints in. He bowls to Brooks, who pushes a single just in front of extra cover, and Middlesex not really able to let rip here. They will come to regret that, I think, because it doesn't look as though there's anything particularly wrong with the pitch on this one.
No, I think it's a good pitch. It's the 3rd time it's been used, but and never easy. The final over against Tamal Mills with his various variations, but Luke Holman has showed in this innings he can hit a long ball, and a good job he's made these 28. He's got Middlesex to at least some sort of a total.
Mills past the umpire to Holman. And Holman hits it up in the air. Mid-off will have a comfortable catch. He backed away, tried to uppercut, and all he did was get underneath it and put it to mid-off. Middlesex lose their 9th wicket. They're 151 for 9.
And the catch comfortably taken there by Ollie Robinson. The 9th wicket goes down. And Tamal Mills, that's his first wicket of the night. Yes, it is. And it means in the competition he's taken 24 wickets as the Sussex skipper. And 3 balls remaining in the innings. And the new man coming in is...
It's Noah Cornwall, sorry.
Yeah, that was Luke Holman, who has gone for 20. I missed how many runs he'd made. I'll catch up with that in a minute.
So at the bottom there, it doesn't tell you, does it? Last batter, it tells you how. 28.
It does.
It
goes 28.
That's like a ticker tape, isn't it? Or is it a ticker tape? It rolls sideways. You always think of a ticker tape going up and down, don't you?
You do, yeah.
Scrolling bar along the bottom. Holman departing then, so it's Cornwall to face Mills, left arm over, 3 balls left to the innings. Mills onto the stumps, and he's hit away by Cornwall for 4, backward a point, and well, Cornwall perhaps is making his point to be driven up the order as he drives that one through point for 4. It was a lengthish ball on the stumps, just backed away, square drive, and boundary to start.
Well, I said how similar this was to the Sussex innings last night. Sussex made 158 for 9 down at Taunton. So with 2 balls remaining, Middlesex 155 for 9. There are real similarities between the 2 innings.
Left-handed Cornwall awaits. Mills down the hill. He's left arm over bowls. Cornwall swings and misses as that one goes through to the keeper, just backed away. Ball pace off, I think, from Mills on that. Bounces over the stumps.
Yeah, it was, and he's got so many variations, and I would imagine the next one is going to be quick. He's just
Yorker?
changing. Possibly.
Yeah, he's moving long leg flying, isn't he?
Yeah, Jack Carlson is coming up inside the circle on the 1.
Well.
So maybe not.
Long legs coming up, yeah. Yeah, he's got a mid-off back, yes, perhaps not then. As, here he goes with a skip. The last ball of the Middlesex innings, 155 for 9. It's Mills to Cornwall. It's a straight ball. It's right up there into the slot, and Cornwall picking it, slams it back over mid-off for 4, and he's erred in judgment there, I think, Mills, on that one. Cornwall doubles his tally with the last ball of the innings as he finds 4, and Middlesex are 159 for 9, which in the end, well, 170, I said they bite your arm off for 170 at one point. They set Sussex 160 to win.
Yeah. That's all right, mate. You play the stab, and they're just coming out, so it's excellent timing. Yes, indeed. Welcome back to Hove for the final stages of the group stages of the T20 Blast for this season. Middlesex have made 159 for 9 in their 20 overs. 3 wickets for Ollie Robinson, 2 for Jack Carson, 2 for James Coles, 1 for Brad Curry and 1 for Tamal Mills. So Sussex needing 160 to record their 9th win of their campaign, and if they do, it could well be enough to carry them through to the semi-finals, because down in Cardiff, Glamorgan have racked up a huge score, 243 for 5 against Somerset, 135 from Kieran Carlson, 64 balls, 14 fours and 8 sixes. If Somerset lose that game and Sussex win, sorry to sound like a broken record, Sussex will have a home quarter-final. However, we're about to see Noah Cornwall is going to get us underway, bowling the first ball of the Sussex reply, coming into bowl to the left-handed Harrison Ward. He's in, bowls, and Ward drills this one down towards third man, and Sussex are on their way. 1 without loss. And it brings the Australian Daniel Hughes onto strike. He's had an excellent competition, Daniel Hughes, 464 runs, 4 times he's passed 50, averaging 35. And he really has been a terrific acquisition, as Bruce Talbot was saying as we were talking before the game. The first time he's played cricket over in England, and he's been a real success. In comes Cornwall, bowls, and Hughes, just as I say that, with a swing and a miss outside the off stump. Ball goes through to Davis, and there is no run. Jack Davis top scoring in the Middlesex total of 159. He made 52. Luke Coleman weighing in with 28. And Cornwall wanders back to his mark. Almost looks like they've got 2 slips in place here, Kevin, or almost a second slip and a gully.
Yeah, they've got to be bold here, haven't they, Middlesex? Defending on a low target, they know they need early wickets.
Cornwall is in and bowls down the leg side, and that's going to run away down towards the boundary for 4 runs. It was a slower ball, and I think it came off. Well, it did come off a bit of bat. I thought for a moment it had come off the pad, but the ball dribbled away and then raced across the outfield for 4 runs. So Sussex on their way, 7 without loss, as we've got the most glorious sunset away in the west as the sun sinks down, and the crowd return to their seats after the break. Hughes, the left-hander. Sussex, 5 of the top 6 are left-handers. As in comes Cornwall over the wicket, bowls, and Hughes pulls this one away, and that's going to be the second boundary of the over, and that was far too short from Cornwall, and Daniel Hughes just pivoted and swung the ball backward of square on the leg side for a second boundary of the over. He goes to 8, and the Sharks to 11 without loss in the first over.
You were right about the food, by the way, Adrian.
It's all gone. Oh dear, I'm sorry.
It will give listeners a last. As we were stood there, it was almost like the train timetable and them all disappearing in front of you. They were slowly taking down item upon item as you stood in the queue.
In comes Cornwall again, bowls to Hughes, who works this one away down towards third man. They've taken 1, they'll think about 2, but they're releasing the second run there. Very good throw comes in right over the top of the stumps, but not before Daniel Hughes has gone through for his 9th run, and the Sharks are 12 without loss in the first.
It's my fault. I shouldn't have gone for get my face painted on Brighton Pier, should I? Beforehand, should have known my priorities. Get here for the pizza. It's good pizza as well down in Greg's, isn't it?
Yeah, Joe, I haven't had one this season, but I'm sure it is good.
That's why you're looking as trim as ever.
Harrison Ward, I don't know about that. Cornwall in, left arm over the wicket, bowls, and Harrison Ward with swing and a miss. Taken by Davis, and there is no run. Harrison Ward, who injured a shoulder here on Saturday playing the game against Essex, had a fitness test before the game at Taunton last night, and was past fit to play, and top scored with 39 in a pretty dismal Sussex batting performance. There haven't been very many poor performances this season for Sussex in the T20, but last night certainly was, and they'll be looking to bounce back tonight. As in comes Cornwall, bowls, and again he beats Ward outside the off stump, and it's signalled a wide, and Cornwall looks a little disappointed. He beat Ward there, and it's one of the vagaries of T20 cricket. It was a decent delivery, and Ward was certainly going after it. He's beaten on the outside edge. The ball rattles through into the gloves of Will Davis.
Yeah, I've seen umpire Chantry a couple of times in the last week, and he's a harsh judge. But we're not at the angle for that, are we, to perfectly judge that one? But as you say, the swing looked close.
Cornwall in again, bowls and hammered away by Harrison Ward out to the fielder at deep point. It's just going to be the single edge. Harrison Ward, he didn't get all of that. It is the end of the over, and the Sharks off to a good start here. 14 without loss after the first over. Ward is on 2, Hughes is on 9. If you're just joining us here on BBC Radio Sussex and BBC Radio London, Adrian Harms and Kevin Hand, Middlesex making 159 for 9, with Will Davis making 52, 3 wickets for Ollie Robinson. And now Sussex in reply at the end of the opening over of 14 without loss.
I'm not as daft to look though, Adrian. I kept back a bit of lunch just in case tonight there was any problem with the food. Because in general at a T20 it can be a difficult one to try and get down and get fed, can't it? But yeah, kept back some cold chips from lunch. Just gone down well. Come make myself a cup of tea. Cup of tea and some cold chips. Nothing wrong with that. Here comes Cullen from the Cromwell Road end. Are we running down the hill? This is what I was teeing up early on, wasn't it? The pace of Cullen, if he's on it today, running down the hill, hitting a decent length. If one skids through it all, or even if he gets one to climb against the trajectory of the slope, then it could be interesting. He's into bowl to Ward, and the left-hander skies the first ball, but he might have got enough on it. Eskenazi's running back from mid-off, and yeah, it stops, plugs short of the boundary rope. Eskenazi returns the throw. He just got enough of it, didn't he, to keep it out of reach of Eskenazi? Yeah,
he would have just had his heart in his mouth for a moment there, Harrison Ward, but as you say, he just couldn't get back fast enough, Eskenazi at mid-off, and in the end picks up a couple of runs, does Harrison Ward.
And again comes Cullen, past the umpire, real sprint of an approach from him. This is hammered away into the offside. He hasn't quite got hold of it, but he's got enough of it, Ward, and 4 runs through mid-wicket for the left-hander. As he tries the pick-up shot, he got enough of it indeed. So 4 more, and it's 20 for no wicket in the second over here. The Sharks looking to go hard. Otherwise, the chances in this competition of what they want will be hanging by a thread. As here goes Cullen into the crease. He bowls. This is hit up in the air again by Ward, and it goes over mid-off. How far has he got this one? 1 bounce, 4. I think that bounce came before the rope. It did, and it's 4 more to the total, 4 more to Ward. He clatters along to 12, 24 without loss after 9 deliveries. The Sharks, a few hands on hips already in the field from Middlesex. And a brisk start here from Sussex. Middlesex know they need wickets if they're going to make this one interesting. Here comes Cullen again into the crease now. He bowls, and this goes up in the air. Deep point comes in, and it's just short of the fielder, as it is. Sliding in at deep point is Martin Anderson. Really tried everything he could to get to that catch, couldn't do so. Wah, 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 plays the soundtrack around the grounds, but actually he did everything he could with that, Anderson.
Yeah, not easy, is it? Will you get another one of those, Kevin, that you think, do you go for it, don't you go for it? I don't think it really quite carried, did it?
No. Cullen directing who deep backward square, pushing him a little bit finer. There is a short fine leg up inside the circle, and Noah Cornwall. Here's Cullen up to the crease now. He bowls, and this ball's pushed back to the bowler. I thought for a moment they were going to get into trouble there and offer the run-out opportunity for Cullen, but Hughes spun around, got back into his crease in good time. 25 without loss, 160 the target. It's well short. The trumpet blows around the county ground here at Hove. A lovely sight on any given occasion, isn't it, Hove? Packed tonight, and a good feel in the ground as up on his toes is Hughes to work this one away down to deep backward point for a single. 26 without loss. And that ends the second over. It's a good second over. It's a good start for the Sharks.
Yeah, it certainly is. rattling along quite nicely at the minute. They only need to score at 7.4 and over. Currently they're going at 13 and over, and I'd imagine there's going to be a bowling change already here. It looks like there might be going to be a bowling change. We're going to get some spin sort of at the start of
Brooks, I think. Oh no, you're right. Brooks is putting his cap back on. He's off. It's going to be Josh Carey's.
I just wondered, having seen Carson and Coles pick up a couple of wickets, whether Middlesex might think that spin is the option here, and Will Davies wanders off and gives his cap to the 12th man and replaces that with the helmet. And retaking guard at the far end of the ground is Daniel Hughes. 26 without loss are Sussex, and De Carey's is going to come in around the wicket. He's just, I mean, this is a brave move in the power play, but Middlesex have probably got to take risks here, and this is probably a risk worth taking. You probably don't want to get your spinners in when it's almost too late, and a couple of wickets here could just put the brakes on. So we'll see how De Carey's goes. Coming into bowl to the left-handed Daniel Hughes. 10 off 6. De Carey's is in. Bowls, and Hughes hammers this down the ground. It wasn't, well, he's going to pick up a single. A misfield down in front of us by Steve Eskenazi, but actually that wasn't far away from De Carey's. It was in the air.
We'd have enjoyed that if we'd have taken it. We'd have been screaming. We had a good line of that.
We did.
To see just
it was hit straight towards us here in the.
And his hand nearly got into the line of it. De Carey's.
So Harrison Ward surveys that shorter leg side boundary. Sussex, 5 of the top 6, as I was saying, are all left-handers. As in comes De Carey's round the wicket, bowls, and Ward makes room and punches that down the ground to long on. Then they're thinking about 2. Will they come back for the second? No, they won't. A good throw comes in. Who's that out there, Kevin?
That is a good question. Leah's deploy. It looks like it is.
In very quickly from the long on boundary.
My doubt for a moment was because Eskenazi, of course, is captain again tonight, and he's
yes,
up
he
in the
is.
circle, so you'd expect deploy to be in close, but
28 without loss. De Carey's in again. Bowls, and Hughes. Oh, that's a lovely shot by Daniel Hughes. He really has been in terrific form in this competition. He just sort of took a step away. There were 3 men on that offside protecting that shot, but he not only did he hit it and time it beautifully, but he picked the spot as well, which was key to the boundary. He goes to 15 and the Sharks to 32 without loss.
Strong start this, isn't it? Middlesex could find themselves up against it very quickly here.
Hughes waits, and carries off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paces is in and bowls, and Hughes doesn't time that, draws it down the offside. Good bit of fielding by De Carey's very quickly round to field the ball off his own bowling, and there is no runs. So 6 off the overs so far. Sussex 32 without loss. Hughes on 15, Ward on 14. De Carey's is back to his mark around the wicket and bowls, and Hughes again goes on to back foot and plays firmly into the covers, firmly enough to pick up a single fielded by Max Holden. He just scrabble away to his right hand side. Hughes goes to 16, the Sharks to 33 without loss in the 3rd over. De Carey's been looking to get out of this over without any more damage. Just 7 off the over so far. De Carey's in, bowls, and Harrison Ward plays it down the offside of the track. Good bit of fielding of his own bowling by Josh De Carey. That's a decent over there from the spinner. Just the 7 runs conceded, and Sussex at the end of the 3rd are 33 without loss, with Ward on 16. No, he's not. Ward on 14 and Hughes on 16.
Yep, very solid start for the Sharks. Middlesex needs to do something to unsettle the waters here at Hove, because otherwise this should be, from here, a pretty straightforward chase, shouldn't it? 130 or 17 overs really isn't the kind of required rate that would massively challenge many sides, let alone one that have their eyes on a home quarter final. They have their eyes on Glamorgan as well at the moment, though.
Yeah, they certainly are.
Here's Brooks around the wicket, bowls, and he's driven away through point. Big chase here for short, or for deep third I should say, and he's not going to get there at deep backward point. It's 4 more, another boundary. Brooks was going to bowl up the hill the last over, but down the hill he comes, and a boundary first ball. Pressure onto the bowler. 37 without loss, the Sharks.
Well, Somerset will keep abreast of how things are going down in Cardiff. Are 15 without loss in the 2nd over. Tom Banton already on to 12. needing 244 to beat Glamorgan. We'll keep right across that as the evening progresses.
Brooks around the wicket, he bowls. This is cut away out to deep point for a single by Hughes. He moves to 21 from 12. He'd had a quiet start for a little while, didn't he? The board was crashing away. He's 14 from 9. On to strike he comes.
I mean, Sussex will feel they've got a great opportunity here. I mean, there's no need to go mad. They only need to score at 7.3 and over. They've got 10 wickets in the bank, and they're off to a good start. So there's no need for too much crash bang wallop. They won't want to get themselves tied down. But
net run rate?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to matter in terms of
Brooks
qualification.
Slower ball up there, and driven straight to Eskenazi at mid-off. No run. A swing from Ward, but it was almost a given, wasn't it? It was like, yeah, I know I'm not going to hit this far, but I'm just going to loopily swing at the slower ball. All it is. Hughes comes down to offer some advice. Brooks, big move from Warwickshire down to Middlesex, who, well, in turn, they've snatched Bamber off Middlesex as Brooks bowls. Oh, goodness me, that is hammered back over his head. On a length, and Ward flat bats it back over the bowler for another boundary. 42 without loss.
Good shot, wasn't it? I didn't realise that Ethan Bamber had gone to Warwickshire. Is that on a loan or?
No, full time. End of the season he's going.
Right, okay.
So you'd imagine he'll play the one-day cup for Middlesex. Maybe in that competition he can go out on a high with Middlesex and obviously try and help bowl them back to Division 1. Warwickshire aren't wholly secure of their place in Division 1 for next season, are they? So that could be an interesting sliding doors moment if it comes to pass. Middlesex and Sussex, of course, we haven't got to that. Big old game, end of the season here at Hove, Adrian.
Yep, it is.
Brooks around the wicket bowls. This ball's eased away to point by Ward. He moves to 19. He remains on 18. There's no run.
Yes, that's the last championship game of the season. Of course, we played Middlesex at Lords. That game ended in a draw and a very a dull draw, wasn't it? It was a flat pitch, which we would have been there till, well, this time next season to get a result on that game. It was a very dull game.
I remember coming out of the commentary box and you and Guy Swindles were spitting about that pitch. Only
it was awful. Yeah.
Cullen around the wicket, he bowls out.
Oh!
That's gone over the hospitality boxes away to our right by the old score box. Huge 6, picked up flat on the pull by Ward. He moves to 24. The Sharks are 48 without loss at the end of the 3rd over.
Well, that's the reason that Harrison Ward has got himself picked up in the 100, and well done to him. He does hit a long ball. He's been helped immeasurably by the fact that Daniel Hughes, the experienced Australian, is alongside him this season. So it's a really good start for the Sharks. 48 without loss. They're rattling on at 12 and over. They only need 7 and over. Middlesex need wickets, so I think they're going to make another bowling change from this end. I'm quite surprised that Holman hasn't bowled yet. Only in that he's taken so many wickets in the T20 this year.
Yeah, wrist spinner. He's bowled well, as you say. For the finger spinner in the power play, they might still go to him, to whoever's left to it, but you'd imagine he'd bowl up the hill here. Holman, look for a little bit of extra bounce.
Well, it's going to be Blake Cullen who's going to bowl the next over from this, the sea end of the ground, the floodlights shining brightly. Daniel Hughes, the Australian, on strike. 21 not out of 12 deliveries. In comes Cullen, bowls, and Hughes. That's a gorgeous shot. That's a proper cricket shot, and often we see it, you don't have to slog the ball in T20 cricket. That's just a beautifully controlled shot, and if it played that in the county championship, we'd have said that was a textbook shot, and it was. Just drilled the ball away for extra cover for 4 runs. Lovely shot by Hughes. He goes to 25, and the Sharks to 52 without a loss.
Speaking of sliding doors, like a revolving door for overseas players this year at home, isn't it? How did Jaden Seals go in his time with Sussex? Obviously, I saw him at Lords.
He was excellent. Really very good indeed. Really impressive for a 22-year-old. As in comes Cullen, bowls, and Hughes is hit on the thigh pad. There's going to be a run out here. If he hits the stumps, he's out. Oh! Well, they got away with that. Well, that was poor running for Sussex. They've rather got away with that. Daniel Hughes, the ball ended up at fine leg. Harrison Ward was halfway down the wicket. Now, to be fair to Harrison Ward, it was his call because the ball was behind square. He set off. Daniel Hughes, well, if the throw from Will Davis had hit the stumps, Hughes would have been run out by a country mile, and now the two are just having a discussion in the middle of the pitch. No harm done, but that really could have been calamitous. 53 without loss. Hughes on 25, Ward on 24. Yeah, so Jayden Seales came for the first 7 county championship matches of the season with Cheteshwar Pujara. Then they both went. In comes Cullen, bowls, and Ward with a swing and a miss outside the off stump taken by Davis, and there is no run. Then Nathan McAndrew came in with Daniel Hughes. Daniel Hughes is staying for the rest of the season. Nathan McAndrew goes back, and Sussex now won't have another overseas until Jadev Anudkat, the Indian bowler, arrives in time for the next round of county championship matches, but he won't be able to play in the T20 quarter-final because he hasn't played a game so far. In comes Cullen, round the wicket, bowls, clipped away nicely by Harrison Ward, picks up 1, and that's all he'll take. The total goes to 25. He goes to 25, I'm sorry, and Sussex to 54 without loss in the 5th over.
Poor old Middlesex, not a single overseas player this year, in any format.
Yeah, I mean, I think Sussex have been very. I mean, you know, they've bought overseas players. I mean, I mean, Daniel Hughes, I didn't know an awful lot about Daniel Hughes, to be honest, but he's come in, as Bruce Talbot was saying, it's the first time he's played in England. He's done really well, and Jayden Seales was a good catch as well, and I think a lot of that, well, the credit has to go to Paul Farbrace with his contacts with cricket around the world, bringing in players. He was very keen to bring in the right players as well, which Sussex haven't done prior to that. In comes Cullen, bowls, driven into the offside by Daniel Hughes. He goes to 26 and the total to 55 without loss.
Well, he copped a lot of criticism in the winter, didn't he? Paul Farbrace and Ali Orr.
Yep.
Headed off to Hampshire.
Yes, he did.
But top of Division 2, heading to a quarter-final in the Blasts.
Well, I think, yeah, totally.
He's been vindicated, hasn't he?
Yep, and Sussex would certainly take. Just to say that Somerset are off to a flyer in Cardiff. In comes Cullen, round the wicket, bowls, hits Ward on the pads. The ball bounces out into the offside, and it is going to be a leg by. The score advances by 156 without loss at the end of Blake Cullen's over. So 5 overs gone. Sussex still going along at just a little over 11 and over. They need to score at 6.9 and over. 56 without loss. Just keep your eye on events in Cardiff, where Somerset are 36 without loss after just 2 overs. Tom Banton at 25 off 10 balls with 2 sixes, and Dan Douthwaite has bowled 1 over that was gone for 25.
Oh, goodness me. He's a good bowler as well, Douthwaite. Sure, watching him, he's a bustling bowler, isn't he? Got a bit of pace about him. Brisk enough.
Yeah.
Is that your cold coffee from the start?
It is.
Can I make you a hot drink?
No, that's fine. No, he's I think he's he was at the same school as Phil Sawling. He went to Reed School in Surrey, Dan Douthwaite, then went, I think, to university in Cardiff. But yeah, that's a bit of a hammering, isn't it? 25 in 1 over.
It's to Carey's right arm around the wicket. He's bowling to Ward on 25 from 16. Break bowlers in now. Bowls it into the track, bowls it hard into the track, and it's short, and it's hammered off the back foot for 4 by Ward. 60 for no wicket. Ward clatters along to 29. This really is some start from the Sharks here in what is a modest chase. There's a lot of hands on hips now, isn't there, around the outfield for Middlesex?
Yeah. I mean, Sussex will kick themselves. I mean, I know they've still got to score, 100 runs to win this match, but they will absolutely kick themselves if they don't win from here.
Yep. It's Carey's second delivery of the over. In bowl, short again, punched again, and that is stopped. Goodness me. Higgins did everything he could there, didn't he, at cover to get around and stop that ball. It was a desperate dive to his left to say, this is not getting through, and he managed to stop it just, which prevented the boundary, holds them to a single. Every little helps.
Yeah. Well, these games can change very quickly, can't they? I mean, Sussex are very much in the box seat, but a couple of wickets, you just never know in T20 cricket. We saw a game here against Gloucestershire a couple of years ago that Sussex had won and then lost, so stranger things have happened.
Carey's bowls short into the pitch again, and it's punched this time to mid-off, and there is no run. 61 without loss it remains, as Eskenazi did the fielding there at mid-off. Here comes to Carey's to step in and ball. This ball's driven to cover, and it's Holden who gets there. It's straight to the fielder. He gets away with that one, and it's a dot ball into the scorebook again. This is a comeback, a good comeback from De Carey's. 4 off the first ball, single dot, 61 without loss. Wicket now to help. It's last over the power play, so Hughes, you'd imagine, will want to get after the off-break bowler now. He steps, bowls, this is driven through the covers. He gets that one through, over pitch from De Carey's. Bisects cover and extra cover. It's 4 more, and there's still one to come of the over. 9 off it, 65 without loss, and obviously a big part of bowling De Carey's at this stage is with the left-hander there. Rather than bowling the leg spinner to the left-hander, bowl the off-break bowler to the left-hander, see if he can pick up the wicket.
Lovely shot, wasn't it? Daniel Hughes' placement has been excellent tonight. 30 off 18.
De Carey's going for 16 off 1.5 so far. And he comes. Last ball of his second over. Oh, and he's picked him up, has he? No. Giving himself room. Hughes backs away outside the leg stump. Davies whips off the bails. De Carey's appeals. Jack Chantry says not out, and he comes to tidy up the furniture because Hughes, he gave himself room, he backed away, but he didn't step forward out of the crease. 65 without loss. Very, very good power play for the Sharks here at Hove.
Yes, it is. Here on BBC Radio Sussex, BBC Radio London, Adrian Harms and Kevin Hand, your commentary team for the final round of matches in the T20 Blast group stages. The quarterfinals, somewhat ludicrously, are being played in the first week of September, so we've got a 6-week break after this. Before we get to the quarterfinals, the big question is, will Sussex be playing here, or will they have a trip to play one of the sides in the northern group? Probably either Birmingham or Lancashire.
Oh, what do you fancy?
We shall see. Well, also I think Northamptonshire are doing well, and I don't think Northampton are out of it either in the northern group. So
that's not too bad a try for you.
No.
Not that we think like that all the time, folks.
In comes Luke Coleman, running in over the wicket, in and bowls to Harrison Ward, who clatters that one away through the offside. Fielded out on the cover boundary by Louis Deploy, who gets in the throw. But it's 1 more to Harrison Ward. He goes to 32, and the Sharks to 67 without loss. In the 7th over, and as Kevin was saying, it's been a really good power play as far as Sussex are concerned. Holman shuffles the ball from hand to hand. He's in and bowls, and Hughes just works this one to the sweeper on the cover boundary. There's kind of a contented hum around Hove at the moment because Sussex are really, well, I'm loath to say cruising to victory, but they are really. 67 without loss. Ward and Hughes 31 apiece. They need to score a 6.8 and over for here on in. Holman in bowls, and a good bit of bowling, and all Ward can do is play that to backward point, and there is no run. Packed house, 4,500 people in the ground. In again, bowls, and Ward plays this down the ground to long off, fielded by Josh De Carey's, who comes in and fields, picks up a single. Does Harrison Ward? He goes to 32, and the Sharks to 68 without loss, needing 160 to win. De Carey's in again, bowls, and cut away by Hughes. That's a lovely looking shot, but it's just a single. 4 singles off the over so far. Good bowling here by Luke Coleman. Sussex go to 69 without loss, which brings Harrison Ward back on strike. He's 32 off 21 balls. Juggles the ball from hand to hand, and is in and bowls. Swept away by Ward. That's a good shot. That's beautifully played, but actually a good bit of fielding. I thought for a moment it had bisected the 2 fielders on the leg side boundary. It hadn't done so, so it's just a single of the final ball of the over. Good over from Luke Coleman, just conceding the 5 runs, 5 singles. Sussex 70 without loss at the end of the 7th. With Hughes on 32, Ward on 33. Sussex needing to score at 7 and over here in the final 13 overs to win this game.
Yep, they're on course, aren't they? Really shouldn't be too much to stop them. But yeah, just going back to your question about De Carey's over Holman in the power play, it was off break to left-handers, wasn't it? I think for Middlesex, pretty much as simple as that. They didn't want to risk the leg spinner turning the ball into the left-hander and being clattered, but then, you know, one of his key deliveries is the googly, and that turns away from a left-hander. But not to be. He's into the attack now, as is Ryan Higgins. He's right arm around the wicket from the Cromwell Road end, bowls into the block hole. It's dug out for a single down to long on. Pressure off. The wily Higgins is a fierce competitor in any match situation, on any pitch, any conditions. Sussex will know that. They can tickle the singles off him. He'll be keeping it there or thereabout in the block hole, most deliveries you'd imagine.
Yes, I think if Northamptonshire beat Lancashire tonight, and they've got a good start, they're 66 without loss, chasing 200 odd, they will go above Lancashire in the table, so they would finish second, and Lancashire would be third. All if buts and maybes.
Clip off the hips this time, Higgins to Hughes, and he'll think about two. Back they come. He moves to 34. Throw comes in. He's sharp and gets back for that second run. Ripple of applause rolls around Hove. They're gently entertained at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. I was just saying, like, the crowd are quite quiet, really. I think they're just sitting here enjoying, enjoying the cricket. And
well, there's no tension in it at the moment.
No, there isn't. None at all. No.
The tension is how many beers will be spilled on the way back to the seats. They're doing good business. I popped out in the interval. Here's Higgins in bowls, and this is driven down to long on for a single. 74 without loss. I saw a machine in Greg's bar where you put all the cups in, probably about 8 to 12 of them go into this machine, and then you press the thing down, and then it just fills up all the pints for them. 12 pints poured at once or so.
That sounds like a good idea, doesn't it?
Yeah. Doing plenty of business, the beer bar, I can tell you that. Warm night and warm day, isn't it? As we said, hottest of the year. This is full, driven out to the sweeper on the cover boundary. Just a single on this occasion, so yeah, you'd imagine there'll be a fair few. Don't forget, top up your water as well, folks. Hydrate. Not just cool yourself down, you've got to hydrate too. Adrian and I going for tea and caffeine and all sorts up here.
Yeah. Especially after a long day yesterday. And that score from Glamorgan was the 8th highest score in Vitality Blast history.
Whoa. It's a low full toss from Higgins, driven down to long on, just wide of the field. Deep mid wicket's trying to get there as well, so they'll get back for two. 77 without loss. And they've bounced back from their defeat to Middlesex. Well then, Cardiff. Super glammy. Cardiff,
yeah.
Glamorgan.
Well, Glamorgan have beaten Sussex twice in this competition. A rain-affected game. Sussex haven't had any games washed out, but there was a game here that was affected by rain, and Sussex were beaten down in Cardiff. So 2 defeats to the Welsh side.
Higgins bowls, a drive through the covers, lovely shot, extra cover, rolls to his left. Eskenazi, he can't stop it. Long off, can't get round. It's another boundary. The Sharks are into the 80s. They're 81 without loss at the end of the 8th. Hughes has 41 of those. Ward has 35.
Well, he's been in terrific form. Sorry, I'm just keeping an eye on the news from Glamorgan. We're way behind on the BBC website, but they're 53 for 3 are Somerset. So they're in trouble against Glamorgan in Cardiff. So Sussex 81 without loss. Could be on their way to a home quarter-final. We shall see. Hughes and Ward have a little natter. Good start for the Sharks. 81 without loss at the end of the 8th. By way of comparison,
Dog's own.
Middlesex was 66 for 3, so Sussex are ahead on sort of all counts, really. Luke Coleman is going to bowl the next over, bowled a very decent opening over, 1 over for 5. And he's going to be bowling to the left-handed Harrison Ward, who just surveys the leg side boundary. And Holman is in. Bowls, and Ward clubs this one away down to long on. Picks up a single, does Ward. He goes to 36 and a total to 82 without loss. A lone seagull flies across the ground and sort of glides across the southwest corner as Holman is in. Bowls, and Hughes is back and slams right onto backward point. Good bit of fielding there. At backward point means there is no run. Daniel Hughes wanders away towards square leg. Daniel Hughes' parents were over a couple of weeks ago. I've been over for a visit to Ireland. Here comes Holman again bowls, and Hughes hammers this down the ground. It's only going to be a single though, fielded down in front of us by De Kerris, who gets in the throw. One more to Hughes. He goes to 42 with the Sharks 83 without loss.
There's a story I'd like to hear more of.
Go
Hughes family on tour in Ireland.
Yeah.
That's got to
Mum and
come
Dad.
back with a few stories, isn't it?
Here comes Holman, pulled away by Harrison Ward, and it's going to go just for a single down to long on. And at the minute, Sussex are just working the ball around. 4 singles off the over so far. Is that 3 singles? My apologies, 3 singles off the over so far. 84 without loss. Hughes on 42, Ward on 37. Holman in again, bowls, and stepping back is Hughes. That's a good shot. It's racing away towards the boundary. Terrific placement again by Daniel Hughes. It really is. There are 3 men guarding out offside. He picked the spot. He didn't have to hammer the ball. He just placed it beautifully through backward point and picked up a boundary. He goes to 46 within sight of what would be his 5th half century of this season's Vitality Blast.
Goodness me.
Yeah, he's been in terrific form. Holman in again, bowls to Hughes, who works this one away to backward point, and on this occasion there is no run. It is the end of another over. 88 without loss are the Sharks. Ward on 37, Hughes on 46. We've had 9 overs gone. Sussex needing to score at 6.5 an over. They're currently going along at 9.8.
Yep, it's a rattling start here, isn't it, for the Sussex Sharks, and really very, very difficult to see a way back. Middlesex yesterday evening reaching 82 without loss after 10 overs, and they fell short of their chase of 180. Here's Higgins around the wicket, he bowls, and that's driven hard. Holman will have to be watchful here, and he is. Holds him to a single. 89 without loss. Ward 38, Hughes 46. From 29, very, very impressive. And all from the top down effort from the Sharks. It was Davies with the recovery in the middle for the visitors here. As Higgins is in, bowls, Hughes, slow ball. Oh, goodness me, timed that back pass, Higgins, and it nearly took off his right shin, didn't it? Higgins stumbled forward trying to get a hand down to it. I think he was also just trying to get that leg out of the way, wasn't he? Slower ball, but that was timed immaculately by Hughes, and he 6 to 50 from 30 deliveries. What an excellent, excellent knock this has been from Hughes, and what a fine piece of form he's in this summer in the Blast.
Well, he is, and you know, 550s. Before tonight, he'd scored 464 runs, so he's over 500 runs. And when you got someone doing that at the top of the order, Roy's in with a shout.
Higgins bowls, and this is clipped out to deep mid wicket for a single. Hughes moves to 51 from 31, 94 without loss. The Sharks. It's coming in as cancer now, isn't it?
It is really, yeah. It's as I say, you can never say never, but it's, you know, Sussex will feel they're completely in the box seat here. 6 and over they need to score at.
Where's our mate Johnny Cantor tonight? He's usually with you for a
not tonight, Johnny.
Higgins in bowls. This is dug out by Ward, and a single's taken. He moves to 39.
Yeah. He's always playing second fiddle here, is Harrison Ward. I mean, generally speaking, during this campaign, he's either got a lot or not very many, Harrison Ward. He's scored 258 runs at 25. And he's got Sussex off to some flyers. These two at Chelmsford put on, I think it was 89 in the power play. That was an extraordinary night.
Higgins in bowls, and Ward, Hughes, drives away. Wide of long off. It's a long chase, and the boundary runs out pretty quick down there, doesn't it? But up the hill they've come back for a second. Hughes moves to 53 as long off cuts it off, and it's 97 without loss, and we're just about to hit the halfway stage. 1 ball left of the 10th, 97 without loss, the Sharks. And we don't really need to tell you DLSs and all sorts. They're miles ahead here, aren't they? The DLS is 66.
Yeah, they are.
For the end of the 10th over. Higgins in bowls, a clip into the onside, a comfortable single. Hughes moves to 54. The Sharks are 98 without loss. Hughes will keep the strike. Ward has 39. And to win, it's what, 62 more?
Yeah, 62 more in
10 overs.
10 overs. There was 8. Sorry, there was 10 off that over.
That's a run rate of just over 6, Adrian.
Yeah.
6.2.
6.2. I'm just still having a look here to see whether the lads might be able to help me listening in the
Back at base.
The media lads. Yeah, I've got all this
back
here.
at base today?
No, I mean the media lads here. Just in terms of the highest first wicket partnership for Sussex in T20 cricket. I've got the list of the partnerships here, but not wicket by wicket. And having said that, I'll probably put the mockers on it and one of them will get out. But anyway, in comes Holman bowls and cut away by Hughes. That's a beautiful shot and it's well fielded. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Just a couple of runs to Daniel Hughes, and whoever fielded that ball has hurt himself.
So I'm going to look to see.
Well, it's 100 up. It's 100 partnership between the two, and they really have been terrific. Daniel Hughes and Harrison Ward, 100 partnership. The ball was belted away through the offside. Exactly 100 up. Hughes goes to 56, and the fielder out there has just got his hands on his knees.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see who it is. Anderson?
I think just diving away, and he's in a bit of distress out there, the fielder. So we hope that he's going to be okay. He's going to carry on, but I mean,
no, he's not. He's falling off over the side.
Yes,
isn't
he is.
No, it's Leas Deploy. Now Deploy got struck on the sternum. The physio's charging around the outfield down there. He got struck twice, I think, in the sternum yesterday, and that's the area he's holding at the moment. Did it bounce up and hit him there?
Well, quite possibly. It looked to me like he dived, so I don't know whether he strained something, but we have got the delay.
Well, it was painful for him last night, the poor fella. Cracknell's on. Front of him now.
So, Holman is in, bowls to Hughes, who plays us into the offside, and there is no run. 100 without loss are Sussex. So I'll keep an eye with if any guys in the media team could let me know about the record for the first wicket partnership of Sussex in a T20 match. That'll be terrific. In fact, I can see, I'm not going to do it myself, as in comes Holman and bowls, and outside, wide outside the other, cut away. That's going to be 4 more. Lovely shot, beautifully played by Daniel Hughes. He goes to 60. It was too wide from Luke Holman, and it was just punished, belted away by Daniel Hughes. 104 without loss. Yeah, first wicket, 120 between Chris Nash and Stian Van Zyl. That was against Surrey at home. I think that's probably, oh no, 156. Chris Nash and Luke Wright at Hove. That was in 2016. So Chris might be listening to us tonight, actually. He was very kindly carried to the commentary box on Saturday. So yeah, 156 is the record. Sussex some way short of that. Holman in bowls, pulled away by Hughes down the ground, and picks up a single, and 1 more to the total. 105 without loss. Ward goes to 35. Hughes on 61.
He's a fan of ours, isn't he?
Who's that?
Chris.
Chris Nash. Yep.
He likes the stuff we write on, so we saw that I've given up writing it on there. Wasting our breath, aren't we, Nash?
Oh, it was very good. He came and it was excellent summariser on Saturday, the game against Essex. In comes Luke Holman, bowls, and Harrison Ward hammers that down the ground, down to long on. The fielder down here is getting a little bit of stick, actually. Who's down here?
Anderson. He was
Martin
late
Anderson.
coming in for it, wasn't he? Whether he just didn't pick it up or...
Hughes 61, Ward on 40, 106 without loss. Sussex really cruising to victory here. Down at Cardiff, Glamorgan 88 for 4 now. Sorry, Somerset 88 for 4. As in comes Holman bowls, cracked away by Daniel Hughes. He's taken 1. They'll think about coming back for the second. That fielder is
Cracknell.
he is going to come back on, is the good news. End of the over, end of the 11th over. The Sharks are 107 without loss. Ward on 40, Hughes on 62, and a bit of Sweet Caroline. Let's have a bit of a listen. Hove is rocking on a Friday night as the Sharks are possibly heading for a home quarter-final in the T20 Blast, which, to be honest, at the start of the season, I think would have been, well, apart from Tamal Mills, who spoke at length and said, you know, Sussex were here to win the competition, but I don't think many thought Sussex would come second in the group.
Brooks around the wickety bowls. This is Pushed into the offside by Hughes on 62, no run. Oh, now it's a bit of Queen.
Yeah.
You said Ho was rocking. Freddie Mercury's going to rock them now. What do we have in the interval there as well? Young Hearts, run free.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Never be hung up like Harmsy and me. Who sung that? Gloria? No. That was a good one. That's one of my favourites, that one. A little bit of disco. You must be a disco man, Harmsy.
Back in the day.
Around the wicket comes Brooks. He's cut. Oh, what a
well
brilliant
fielded.
stop that is. Noah Cornwall down there at deep third, running around, rolls over the top of it, gets the hands down underneath him and makes sure that the ball doesn't pass. They have a single, 108 without loss. Good to see the dedication.
Well, that's good, isn't it? Because Middlesex are being well beaten here, and I think what you want to see is you see a young cricketer who's giving it everything as if he's playing in the final and saving runs. So that's a good bit of cricket.
Yeah, agreed. Please the coach and his teammates, young Cornwall. I mean, as I say, ironically for Middlesex this year, the bowling lineup: Brooks, Helm, Cullen, Cornwall. As Brooks is in, bowls, he's carved over the covers. 4 more. Dismissive stuff from Ward. He's on to 44 from 30, 112 without loss. I was just about to say, the bowling this year has played its part a little bit more than it did last year.
Well, Blake Cullen just sort of had a rueful look at the scoreboard then, because Sussex now need 48 to win, and the run rate required is a little under 6. You feel here that, well, perhaps these two fancy carrying Sussex all the way to victory. We shall see.
Here comes Brooks. He needs a response here. He bowls a slower ball into the stumps, and it's clipped out too deep mid-wicket for a single. Ward moves to 45, 113 without loss.
Well, if they do so, it'll be the record partnership for Sussex in T20 cricket, eclipsing the 150. It's a long way off yet, so don't get too excited. 159 between Luke Wright and Matt Machin. I was at that game at Chelmsford in 2016. Luke went mad and just smashed it all around the ground.
Mate, whatever happened to him?
Well, he's the England selector. The England selector.
So basically, he needs to come and play for.
In comes Anderson, bowls and cut away by Daniel Hughes. There was a misfield at backward point. And he kicks away at the turf. Who's that? Is that Ryan Higgins?
No, wait, not Luke Wright, the other fella.
Oh, Matt Machin.
Yes.
Yes, Matt.
He threw me there. I was thinking, hold on a minute. Wright and Machin are England selectors.
No, Matt Machin played for Scotland, but had to retire with a wrist injury, sadly.
No.
114 without loss of the Sharks. Still comes to the games, though, does Matt? Big Albion fan as well. 45 to Harrison Ward, 64 Daniel Hughes.
West Brom.
Yeah. Harrison Ward surveys that leg side boundary. He's on 45. He'd fancy going to his 100 with a 6, I'm sure. In and bowls, and Ward is beaten outside the off stump. That was a quick delivery from Henry Brooks, taken by Will Davis. End of the over, end of the 12th over, and the Sussex Sharks are 114 without loss. Elsewhere, down at Cardiff, Somerset are now 92 for 5 after 9 overs, and you'd have to say, looks like the game is almost up for Somerset. You can never say with any certainty, but the big hitters are out. Cola Cadmore out for a duck, Sean Dixon out for 12. Lewis Gregory is still there, and he's still a danger man as far as Somerset are concerned. But after all the huge disappointment of the performance last night down in the West Country, Sussex might yet find themselves at home in the quarterfinals in September. We shall see.
Brooks is a Brummie. Wonder if he's an Albion fan. West Brom.
Who's that?
Henry Brooks.
Right. Okay.
He's come from the Midlands, come from Warwickshire.
Luke Coleman is in, bowls to Daniel Hughes, who has a rather ugly smear at that. The ball just bounces round to the leg side, and Hughes, picks up a single. He goes to 65, and the Sharks to 115 without loss in the 13th over here on BBC Radio Sussex, BBC Radio London. You may be watching via the Sussex live stream, in which case a very good evening on the most glorious evening here at Hove. Adrian Harms and Kevin Hand on commentary duties. As in comes Luke Holman, right arm over the wicket, bowls, and Ward crunches this one down the ground. He picks up a single. The fielder down here gets a bit of stick, a friendly stick, does Martin Anderson from the spectators in the southwest corner. Many of them are wearing those blue Sharks headdresses in the crowd, and enjoying seeing Sussex going along very nicely here. In comes Holman, bowls, and Hughes hammers this one. That's gone many a mile. Whoa! 6 runs! Oh. You probably just heard it clatter above our commentary box. And Daniel Hughes, well, what a terrific knock. He goes to 71 and the Shark to 122 without a loss.
Clock. Very nice sound, isn't it?
Oh.
What's happened?
Well, we were talking about Chris Nash a little earlier on, so
Is he saying he doesn't like our tweets?
No, he doesn't say that at all. In comes Holman, bowls, and Hughes drills the ball down the ground, and Chris very magnanimously says records are there to be broken. So we shall see. But these two are batting beautifully. 123 without loss. Thank you, Chris, for your message. Let's make you're enjoying this, as is this packed crowd here at Hove. Luke Holman tosses the ball from hand to hand. Comes into bowl to the left-handed Harrison Ward. Ward drills this one down the ground, and he goes to 47. Sussex to 124 without loss. So just 36 needed to win for the Sharks. I'm just keeping an eye on where this partnership ranks for Sussex in terms of T20 partnerships. At the minute it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th on the list. In comes Holman, bowls and drilled down the ground by Daniel Hughes. Not saying just drilled down the ground, it's beautifully placed by Daniel Hughes. Luke Holman's furious. He felt that should have been cut off. However, there was no chance really. Hughes goes to 76, the Sharks to 128 without loss. And as I say, this is now the 6th highest partnership in T20 cricket for Sussex. One more run and they'll overtake the partnership between Murray Goodwin and Scott Styris against Gloucestershire at Hove in 2012.
Scott Styris.
So they're certainly working their way through the big partnership. In fact, Daniel Hughes wants a new bat. No, don't change your bat, Daniel.
Chris Nash must have played in that game when Scott Styris was the Middlesex captain against Sussex. Grizzly Adams was the Sussex skipper at the Walker's Ground, Southgate. It was a bore draw, that one, heading into the final day, and the teams agreed to set up a match, and Scott Styris afterwards said, I'd never been involved in declaration negotiations before to set up a game. Said it was a complete first to me, and of course the man he was up against was Chris Adams, a veteran of it. It's his Cornwall in from the Cromwell Road end. He is punched through cover by Ward, who picks up a couple here, and he moves to 49. It was a good stop by mid-off, tumbling to his right, which saved the boundary, but they did get through for a couple. And yeah, it was a hilarious one. David Nash was the Middlesex wicketkeeper. He took off the gloves and bowled a few, and ball was thumped around to the Waterfall Road end, the Adelaide end, and yeah, that was towards the end when there was no more, joke bowling as they called it, to get the declaration set up. As Cornwall's in, bowls. It's on a length and it's through to the keeper. That beats Ward. It's a fine piece of bowling by
was very good. So this is now the equal 4th highest partnership in T20 cricket. 130 between Phil Salt and Luke Wright against Glamorgan at Hove. In fact, 3 of the 4 top partnerships in T20 cricket do figure. In fact, all 4 feature Luke Wright. Wright and Machin, Nash and Wright, Salt and Wright, Salt and Wright.
Cornwall bowls outside the off stump. The umpire thinks for a moment it's a wide.
In fact, all the top 4, in fact, 6 of the top 7 partnerships for Sussex in T20 cricket involve Luke Wright.
Was that a catchphrase noise that they just triggered there?
Do you know, I don't know. Quite possibly.
Around the ground. Cheeky one, that. I don't know if the new catchphrase still uses that same old one. Is Cornwall in bowls, and this is swung up and over extra cover. Lovely shot. I don't know if he's quite got all of it. Bit of leverage. Might be flicked. Oh, has he flicked it off the fielder? I think they're looking for 4 in the crowd. Not sure it is. Doesn't matter either way. Ward's got his 50. They're back for 3, and Ward's on 52 from 37. 134 without loss. The Sharks.
Well, it's been a terrific partnership between these two. Daniel Hughes has brought out a new bat. Really good to see Harrison Ward in the runs. I was saying that his form in this season's T20 Blast has got him an outing in the 100 against the Oval Invincibles. I'm delighted for him. He's batted nicely. It's like a little bit second fiddle to Daniel Hughes. He's been terrific. But Sussex, dare I say it, are rather cantering to victory here.
Cornwall in bowls, and this is clipped out to deep mid-wicket for a single by Hughes. Moves to 77, 135 without loss. I forgot that Scott Styrus left Middlesex to come down to Sussex. He was a good player. Was Styrus still going here at Sussex when you started, Harmsy?
No.
No, good player he was, goodness me. He'd love T20 nowadays, wouldn't he? The way it's evolved, slam the ball around parks. A brilliant all-format cricketer though, wasn't he? All-rounder. Cornwall past the umpire, he bowls. This is dug out for a single out to deep points. Whether it was a bump ball or it was chipped out of the block hole through the vacant cover point region.
Just keeping an eye on things down at Cardiff, where Somerset are now 113 for 6 after 11 overs. So it very much looks as if Sussex are going to have a home quarter-final in the T20 Blast, which didn't look likely last night after the defeat at Somerset.
Cornwall's Hughes. Oh, that shoots through.
Did.
It was into the block hole, to be fair. It's hit the crease and gone through outside off. Rolls through to Davies. 136 without loss. Sussex. That's the end of the 14th over. 6 remain. They require a mere 24 to win. Ward has 53. Hughes has 77. When was the last time Sussex registered a 10-wicket win in the Blast?
Well, I think that these two, having got this far, will want to see this through and walk off with Sussex having won with a 10-wicket victory. But
do you reckon Hughes will have a dip at the century? Here he needs 23 runs. There's 24 to win. If he gets the strike, bang, bang, bang. Start your engines, Harmsy.
So it is going to be De Caires coming in from the C end of the ground to bowl to Harrison Ward, who's 53 not out. De Caires is in bowls, and Ward hammers that one away through the covers. A good shot for just a single. He goes to 100. No, he doesn't. He goes to 54, and Sussex to 137 without loss. And on BBC Radio Sussex, BBC Radio London, live cricket on a glorious evening at Hove. There's Josh De Caires. Or De Caires is in around the wicket. Bowls to Hughes, who punches that one out to long off, picks up a single, fielded down in front of us by Luke Coleman, who gets in the throw. It's a comfortable single to Hughes. He's on 76, 138 without loss. Sussex, 23 more runs needed to win. Ward, nice buzz around the ground. People enjoying this Sussex batting performance as De Caires is in bowls, and there's going to be a run out. I thought for a moment as the throw comes in, but it was a good call by Daniel Hughes. The ball went behind square, so it was Hughes' call as the non-striker. Harrison Ward just hesitated for a moment, but in the end there was a comfortable single. Ward goes to 55, 139 without loss. Sussex in the 15th of their 20 overs. De Caires again off this 4 or 5 pace run is in and bowls to Hughes, who rather swings across the line. They've taken one, they'll think about 2. There really isn't a second run there. Rather ugly shot by Daniel Hughes, but he's played enough pleasant shots not to worry about that. He goes to 79. The Sharks to 140 without loss. Martin Anderson gets an ironic round of applause from the spectators in the southwest corner. And De Caires is in again, bowls. Ward back and forces this one away through the covers. Picks up another single, 5 singles off the over so far. Sussex go to 141 without loss. Another 19 needed to win. And Hughes comes down, does a bit of gardening. Steve Eskenazi comes up and has a word to Josh De Caires, maybe suggesting a fielding change or something, but without wishing to sound too blasé, it's pretty much done and dusted as far as Middlesex are concerned. 141 without loss. De Caires just arranging that offside field. He wants the sweeper to go a little squarer. As De Caires is in bowls, wide outside the off stump. Will that be a signal to wide? No, he's not. Daniel Hughes is annoyed with himself. A bit of bowling actually by Holman, because Daniel Hughes stepped away to the leg side. The ball goes past the off stump. It's not a wide. 141 without loss. Bit of Hey Jude across Hove. 56 to Harrison Ward, 79 to Daniel Hughes at the end of the over. Sussex 141 without loss, needing another 19 to win in 4 overs. And just in terms of those partnerships for Sussex, the next one on the horizon, 144 for the first wicket between Phil Salt and Luke Wright against Glamorgan at Cardiff. That was in 2021.
He's running out of runs here, isn't he, Hughes? He wants to find that century. 21 runs he needs, 19 left. He needs to get on strike, he needs to clatter some boundaries. See if he can get it over the line. Here's Cullen back into the attack at the Cromwell Road end. He's right arm round the wicket, 141 without loss. In he comes, bowls, that is picked up and hit straight to mid-wicket, and a fabulous catch by Luke Holman. That is a really, really good catch in the deep. It came so quickly at him. He was trying to judge the depth of it, the height of it, the speed of it, the trajectory. It was low to his left in the end as he stepped in, then stepped to the side and fell to his side to hold on. It was just one of those that was hit so hard at him so quickly that the reaction time was limited, even though it wasn't one where he was diving a long way here, there or anywhere. But a brilliant innings comes to an end. And, well, the crowd show their appreciation. That was an outstanding knock by Ward, 56 to his name. He heads off, Clark comes in. And a wicket for Cullen, a wicket for Middlesex, a great catch for Holman.
And the record is safe, Chris, for the first wicket, 156 nationwide v Somerset at Hove 2016. But well batted, Harrison Ward, who's very much cemented his place in this Sussex side at the top of the order. So a late consolation for Middlesex. Tom Clark, who played a lot of his junior cricket down at Horsham, comes out for what you would think would just be the last few balls towards the end of this match.
He's got to knock a single and give Hughes the strike. He's never got a T20 century. Will he ever have a better chance than this? Daniel Hughes, 35 years of age. Top score of 96 in T20s. 20 T20 50s. Cullen's around the wicket and he bowls a short ball to Clark, who hooks hard to deep square. Single taken, over to Hughes.
Do you know, I think he's the sort of, I mean, I've spoken to Daniel on several occasions since he's been here. It's easy to, I think he's the sort of fella who's just thinking, let's just win the game. I don't think he'll be thinking too much about his ton. But 550s, it's been a terrific return for him.
Cullen to Hughes, mid off and mid on up, quite wide as well. As Cullen's in, bowls on a length. This is eased into the onside for a single. 142, 143 for one.
Well, I think we can safely say that Sussex are going to have a home quarter final in the T20 Baths, because Somerset are 113 for 9. They need lots. They need 244 if they're going to win. They're not going to do that against Glamorgan in Cardiff tonight.
This ball's onto the hip of Clark and a single. Here's work to deep square. He's on to 2 from 2. 144 for one. Excuse me.
16 needed to win for Sussex, and they've got another 4 overs and 2 balls in which to get them. And Daniel Hughes, very much the man of the moment, and very much the man of the group stages, to be honest.
Cullen to bowl. It's into the block hole. It's driven down the ground for 4. He's on to 84. 12 to win. No, 14 to win. 12 to win.
12 to win. That was a beautiful shot, wasn't it? And he's played some delightful cricket shots. Daniel Hughes, over 500 runs in the tournament. I have to have a look. I think he's leading into this game. I have to see who was the highest run scorer in the competition. But Daniel Hughes was 3rd. So I'll have a look at that.
Cullen bowls. Oh! 6 runs over deep backward square. A sweet pick up by Hughes. He moves to 90. It's the 150 up for the Sharks. 154 for 1. 6 to win as Hughes moves to 90. And that was the end of the over. So, Adrian Harms, get your shoes and socks off. Can he do it? If Clark were to take a single, that would be 5 to win. He could hit a 4 and then hit a 6 last ball.
Well, Daniel Hughes, I don't know how up to date, he's showing the 14th match. He's behind Sam Hain, who's made 554 runs in the competition. Daniel Hughes, I think this is updating all the time, 543. So I think he will be almost, well, he's nip and tuck, but he's certainly in the top 3 run scorers in the Blast for this season. That's a super shot.
Yeah. Yep, really good. That was a lovely, lovely piece of timing, and that's what is the mark. That's been the mark of his innings, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has.
Now Clark's got to just drop a single here, isn't he, to the Careys and say to Hughes, go on then, find a 4 and then find a 6.
Yes.
And you got your first T20 century.
So Tom Clark surveys the leg side field. 4 overs to go. So it's 154 for 1.
Don't swing hard here, Clarky.
De Cares in bowls, and Clark plays that through the offside. Picks up a single.
It's on, Harmsy. It's on. 4 and a 6. 5 to win.
Yep. Well, he
4 and a 6.
I don't think he can get them in that order. 90 off 53 balls for Daniel Hughes. It's been a terrific knock.
Boundaries everywhere for him.
In comes De Cares. Bowls, and Hughes hammers that down the ground. It's going to go for 6 to win the match. What a way to win the match for Sussex. What a way to secure a home quarter-final in the T20 Blast. It's been a thumping victory for Sussex here tonight. They've won by 9 wickets, led home by Daniel Hughes. 96 not out, his 5th half century of the campaign, and almost certainly the highest run scorer so far in this season's Vitality Blast. Wonderful performance by him, wonderful performance by Harrison Ward, and with Somerset getting beaten down at Cardiff, it means that Sussex are finished 2nd in the group and will have a home quarter-final in the first week of September.
He hit it too well, Harmsy. He was only supposed to go for 4. Cleared the rope by about a metre. Oh well. He equals his highest T20 score, Hughes, moves to 96, but as you say, it's all about the Sharks. A 9-wicket victory against a somewhat resurgent Middlesex again at the end of the group stage, but I think across the group stage as well. 10 defeats in a row, but that's the end of their campaign, and on to the One Day Cup, where they will really look to dust this off quickly, get back into some good form in the One Day Cup before that vital championship run-in comes around, because Middlesex will be gunning for Sussex in the championship, and for top spot in Division 2 they will be desperately keen to get back to Division 1 at first attempts.
Well, Kevin, thank you very much indeed. Thank you everybody for listening. I'm just going to have a final look here at the game down at Cardiff, but I mean, it looked pretty all up as far as Somerset are concerned. They're 123 for 9. I don't think there's any way they're going to score the runs they require in the overs that are required. So I think we can pretty safely say Sussex are not only in the quarterfinals, they've got a home quarterfinal. We'll be here in September. Thank you everybody for listening to our Friday night cricket during the group campaign. It's been terrific stuff. Thank you to Kevin. Always a pleasure to welcome Kevin Hand down here to Hove. We'll see you, as say, for the county championship match coming up, the last game of the season at the end of September. But from myself, Adrian Harms, at a Hove that's rocking, Sussex are in the quarterfinals of the T20 Blast. Thanks for listening. Thank you to Cameron Anderson-Jones back at base. We'll do it all again next time.